and welcome back to another Nextlander podcast. And we are now approaching the middle-ish of June, which means that we have made it through the not E3 season. Alex Navarro, welcome back.
Thank you.
We will be debriefing you from your Summer Game Fest mission shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Shoemaker, you were here with me in the online trenches for a lot of
grinding that content.
Yeah, you previously out in the field. What do you think now that you have watched it and absorbed it? I know different, but do you feel like there is merit to even just watching the stuff unfold before your eyes?
Yes, of course.
You get to see so much.
Mm-hmm.
I bet.
Yes, I got to have the experience of asking her. We basically flipped roles this year, where I saw all the streams, and then Alex was out in the field, and so there were probably things that happened on streams that he didn't know about because he was too busy speaking to human beings and touching controllers.
And touching human beings.
Or at least sitting in a nice theater chair watching someone else touch a controller. But yeah, I did every night I was done, I would go back and watch whichever big conference I missed that day. Like on Sunday when Microsoft happened, I wasn't around, and neither was anyone else on the floor from what I could tell. But then by the time that was over with, around, let's say, I don't know, it was like noon or whatever, people started filtering in a major way. Their thing was also like on the west side of town, which was not anywhere near where we were. So I think people were like cabbing back and forth.
Yep.
So we're going to jump right into it with mostly just kind of recapping what Alex saw, what he was able to play. Then we'll go into kind of the stuff we saw during Summer Game Fest, the stuff that happened during the other conferences around that, Nintendo, Microsoft, some of the other stuff. But before I do that, at the top of the show here, I do want to thank everybody who has supported us, who allow us to, send Alex over to go, we pay our own way on that stuff. Alex went and, got tickets, got the, hotel, whole thing. And that cost money. And that is, we're able to do that because of you. We don't have it sponsored. We're, still the last place on the internet that is not taking sponsorships for that stuff. But that's the way we like it. And we hope you like it that way too. That we can't do that without your support. So thank you for supporting us there. The other thing I just want to mention briefly here, and this is just a little bit of it's not necessarily a boo-hoo, Vinny, but it is a little bit of, I really enjoyed doing that trailers stream where the Showcase Showdown, where I go through and try and watch as many trailers as I could possibly take. This one was about 5 hours long, 6+ including the Nintendo Direct before that. But that thing gets demonetized almost immediately.
Of course.
17 ways from sideways. That's a new expression. You can use that. So we don't make any money off of that. And the only reason I could really justify doing it is because people support us on Patreon and other places. So
it's for the people.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to do it otherwise. So basically, that time is evaporated monetarily, other than me really wanting to do it. And I think it's a cool thing to do and wouldn't make sense unless we had people who support us directly. So all of that said, thank you very much. I know we do things a little bit differently here than a lot of the other internet, where we're not doing big sponsorship things, and our whole thing is we want to try and remain as supported by the people who want to see our stuff.
As unencumbered as possible is how I like to look at it.
Yeah. That's so thank you very much for allowing us to do that. That being said, if you like that and you're into that, patreon.com/Nextlander, you could be a part of that.
Yeah.
And B, Alex, let's jump right in to your overall experience for Summer Games Fest, because this was your first not E3 Summer Palooza, right?
Literally the first time I'd been in LA since E3 2019, the last one.
Wow.
Man, that's an impressive run of avoiding Los Angeles.
I was ready. I was ready to go back and experience it again.
I've got questions that are not about video games.
Okay.
Did you make it? Did you happen to go by the LACC?
No, I did drive by it initially,
Okay.
I think in my cab ride on the way to the hotel, but like I did not go over there.
Yeah, I saw where you were staying, and like I stayed in a hotel across the street last year from there, so like I couldn't not just walk up to that thing.
Totally.
Which was vacant. I assume it was probably vacant this time for you as well.
Probably. I did also drive by the Galen Center on the way
Okay,
out, so
sure.
you know, the old Microsoft conferences of old.
Yeah, you were not quite across the street from it.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Oh, sorry,
well,
go ahead.
Who'd you vote for while you were there?
No one.
What?
They don't let me vote in California anymore.
That's not what I,
That's
that's,
not how
that's
this
not
works.
what I hear.
They didn't hand you your dozen ballots when you
Yes,
got off the airplane?
I gave you a laundry
Spencer
sack.
Pratt
full-
was waiting for me at the airport. He was just like, dude, we got to talk.
Give me those. Did you see a lot of election stuff while you were there? Like,
Not really,
okay.
no. The neighborhood I was in, which I'm not going to dox the show or any of that stuff, but like the neighborhood I was in, there was not really much of a political presence anywhere.
Interesting,
It seemed
okay.
Very, very minimal.
okay.
So what did you think of the venue? What did you think of the layout of this whole thing? Like, just curious to hear your thoughts because it's so different from E3.
It is, and so unencumbered, you know, Vinny, when you used that word earlier, that's kind of how I felt through a lot of this show because I didn't have to carry gear around. Like, it's not a lot of distance. It's basically the length of a city block is the whole thing. And there's like a couple of side alleys you can go where there's some other buildings, but like basically it is just like an avenue block length of different rooms and converted restaurants and other things that have been turned into go see this game venues. And I thought it was like reasonably well done. Like it's structured well. Like everything's pretty close together. Even if you don't know where something is, it's pretty easy to find it just by asking around. I think the food options were maybe a little mid, but it was all free, so I wasn't really that angry about it.
That's the actual question I wanted to ask you the most is what was your favorite food truck? Because they have food trucks at this thing and they give you like, I think last year there were 4 tickets for 3 days to hit food trucks.
This one time was 3 times for 3 days, 3 tickets for 3 days. But they also
that's
gave
wild.
you like, there was another one that was for like a goodie bag too. So that was it.
So effectively, it's like you get lunch every day. Anyway,
Yeah.
No kidding, that's
and the
like-
drinks were free for the most part. Like alcohol you had to pay for, but everything else was free.
was the Mediterranean truck there is my only question
Yes.
because I last year I went to that thing every time I went to eat and they knew me by the end of the thing.
That was
And
me in the dumpling
fun.
truck.
That's funny.
That was fun.
Hey, look, free mid food is better than pay food.
the
Look,
convention
free-
center food
look,
that you have to pay for.
Yeah,
The
so, like,
the Mediterranean truck was above mid to me.
that's
but
great.
Anyway.
I didn't realize that. That's actually pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
it's nice. They make it very convenient to like not have to. You want people there seeing
spoiled you
games. The whole-
guys. That's
Yeah, you're
great.
able to
Well,
hang out and not just be like, I have to leave now because I need to eat, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, and there's not like food options around that thing. So if you had
That's
to leave
what
to
I've
go,
heard,
if you
yeah.
have to leave to go find lunch, you're missing.
leaving.
Like that's significantly less time to be taking appointments.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I know you don't want to necessarily talk about the area, but I've heard the area is a little out there.
It's not. I mean, it's out there in the sense that it's not a part of LA anyone go to on a weekend willingly. Like it's a place of businesses that are operating during the week.
And LA is a big city, a sprawling city,
and even in downtown, the sprawl around. This is in the sprawl around downtown.
So I did not realize this, Brad. I guess maybe I don't. We never dove this deep into it. It's kind of like an outdoor mall. Is that really what the setup is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like basically it's converted businesses that are open, like going or not operating while this is going on.
It's a bunch of like converted storefronts that used to each individually have businesses in them that have all been kind of turned into event space now.
And they are kind of enclosed. Like you are not walking down an actual city street. You are walking down a pedestrian pathway that normally would just all those regular businesses would be there.
So like really almost like an outdoor mall?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less.
Full of games media?
Yeah, I mean,
And
so here's the thing I will give them absolute credit for. I give Keeley a lot of shit for a lot of reasons, but the structure of the thing and the staffing and the setup for everything felt pretty seamless, well put together, and everyone seemed to know what they needed to know. Like anyone I asked a question to knew what I needed to know. So I'll give him that. Like everything they put together for the actual on the ground experience, I feel like was pretty well oiled. So
it is much
to
more. It's much more unified and standardized than E3 ever was. Like everything has got kind of a baseline level of like logistical competence to it. I feel like where it's like you just know X, Y, and Z things are going to be there at every kiosk and like the it's easy to find your way around, and like there's food and drinks nearby if you need them. Like just it's run well.
Yeah.
And so it's this is not a nefarious question, but like how, since sounds like it is outdoors ish for the most part, how do they verify and vet people coming in and out? Like I know you have your credentials, but
you have to have a badge.
Checkpoints?
And after the first day, you have to ID check at the door also with your badge.
So there is like a funneled checkpoint, where you can only get into this space.
There's only one entrance. Like the other side is totally blocked off by fencing, and it is labeled a emergency exit only. So
okay. So it's an enclosed space.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So you got there. You've made appointments. You spent time booking stuff. Can I?
Two real quick funny stories I will just tell. I told one of these already on the Giant Bomb show, but the only time I saw Keeley at the thing was on the first day, and it was in the morning before everything kicked off. And it wasn't even like I wasn't looking for him or anything, but he was standing there with some other executive, and two people had approached him to get a photo with him. And that guy who wanted a photo came up to me and was like, hey, can you take a photo of us? Can you take a photo of us? And I was like, sure, okay. So I did that, and then I held up the camera or whatever. Keeley's looking at his phone. And then as soon as he looks up, he sees me holding the phone, and there's a little bit of like a head tilt, but no reaction beyond that. So I think it's just sort of like, oh, okay, you're doing this, fine, whatever. I just thought that was funny.
That is funny. Wait, so you guys didn't like fist bump or anything?
No, Keeley and I are not that friendly, so it's fine. The other thing was the only time I saw any like big executive entourage was Asha Sharma and Matt Booty came through on the first day with a big crowd of people. And as far as I could tell, all they were doing was just moving from booth to booth, looking around for a couple of minutes, and then moving on to the next one, like they were surveying the kingdom.
Look, they kind of are, right?
Yeah.
Like
that's how it always was at E3 too. You know?
You probably just didn't see it as much, right?
Yeah, but none of the other big company executives were around, from what I could tell.
So Alex, you kind of gave us a list of games that you saw that you can talk about because some stuff is embargoed, and asked us to kind of pick from the list here.
We'll start with the stuff you guys want to hear about.
Yeah,
the most.
I want to hear about Control Resonant. If you're okay,
that's
to
a good
start
lead
there.
one.
Okay,
that's a very good lead one because that is definitely the one I spent the most time actually playing.
So what'd you get your hands on with?
So basically what they showed is the intro to the game, more or less. It is the opening cutscene. It is the first series of like mission segments. It's like Act 1, more or less. And then there's a little bit of a like cutscene thing at the end. Some of that stuff I can't fully talk about because they were like, hey, we can't show footage of this, whatever. But I can give you the broad strokes. But the gameplay stuff I can all talk about. And basically, they made their own Spider-Man game, is how I would describe it.
Whoa. Huh.
It is extremely traversal based, at least in that opening salvo they showed.
Not what I was expecting to hear.
So how are you locomoting in a Spider-Man-ish way?
The game opens with you leaving the oldest house, more or less. You know, you are playing the brother of Jesse Faden, the guy who is trapped in a glass box through a lot of that first game.
It was a Dylan?
Dylan, yeah. So he's out. There is a big threat going on. They think it's the hiss initially, but then that bigger threat kind of manifests itself, and the hiss seems like it even doesn't quite know what to do with it, which is the thing that is turning the city geometrical.
Yes, and all the trailers and
into weird Rorschach versions of it. So once you get outside, you find out that everything's fucked. Like, it's kind of confined to Manhattan is how they frame it, but the AWE that is going on has basically subsumed the whole city as far as you can tell. And there are only scattered, like, FBC, like, on-the-ground units running around trying to fix this.
The Alan Wake event?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What's the FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control?
Bureau of Control.
Yes. I will say the one piece of swag I was happy to get was a full-on FBC coffee mug. That was the only thing they gave that was pretty good.
Oh my God, I
I
saw a photo of that. I have a weakness for coffee mugs. I was very jealous.
They did a good job on that mug.
Maybe they sell that thing.
Do they say what, like, I'm sorry, I know we're not here to talk about specific story stuff, but when they intro the game, is Dylan just kind of alone and wakes up, or is somebody wake him up, or is he just kind of is he just being exposed to this on his own?
Without getting too deep into it, let's just say Jessie is there briefly, and it seems to indicate she has left for reasons.
Okay.
And then he kind of wakes up and some shit happens.
Okay.
Specifically, there is a big thing which appears to be the same material that is the gun from the first game shoved into his chest
Oh, is that
And
when
he has
he's
to pull
manifesting the weapon?
Yes, that turns into his weapon that he can turn. Basically, he can turn into any kind of Ninja Turtle using that weapon.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding, because like one is like a bow staff, like one is like size, one has like kind of a nunchuck feature.
Yeah.
So the way the structure of the combat, or at least how they're unlocking stuff initially seems to be, is that it is kind of like you have your primary attack and your secondary attack, and then you can unlock more versions of those over time. And then there's a plate, like literally by holding down on the D-pad, Dylan can sort of like zoom back into this sort of nether zone where he can go in and reconfigure his combat any way he wants based on what he's unlocked.
I see.
Kind of at any time.
Yes, at any time.
That's got kind of like the Mind Palace in Alan Wake 2, basically.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of how they pitched the service weapon in the first one, right? Is it's like one gun that can turn into all of your different weapons. It sounds like this is somewhat like that.
Yeah, so here's the melee version of that.
Okay. So, like, I mean, I know you said Spider-Man, but is the combat character action? Because that's how it's always looked to me. Like, it's
closer to that, yes.
Devil May Cry-ish style, mostly melee, crowd management, combo-heavy launcher kind of mishmash.
Like, there's one special attack that is, like, extremely ranged-based. It's kind of like a big whip that shoots forward. So if you want to attack stuff from a distance and don't want to get up in people's asses, like, that's a good way to do that. But, like, I picked the one that is sort of like the two-hand dagger is, like, the basic attack. And that is the air juggle, fucking get in there, high crit chance, sort of just like not a ton of initial damage, but you can really whip people's ass with it.
So do the combos involve you changing weapons mid combo? Like it's like
you don't have to.
Oh, okay. But
you could just basic attack a combo, or you can mix and match kind of within the different weapon types.
But it does have that level of nimbleness. Like the weapon can change mid combo. It's like 2 hits with the Sai into a heavier.
Whatever you have equipped can be used in a combo.
Okay.
How many things can you have equipped?
I mean, there's a regular attack, there's a secondary attack, and then it seemed like there was some other stuff around the edges. I'm not sure any of that really manifested in the demo I was playing. There are special abilities too, like special attacks, meters you can build up, that kind of thing.
Is there much range stuff? Because like aside from the shooting, there was a fair amount of like telekinesis in the first game, like picking stuff up and throwing it with your mind. Like, is there still any range component like that?
Didn't see a lot of that. There is definitely like AoE special attacks and other things you can do that aren't just like right on your person, but like I didn't see much of like the telekinesis stuff or anything like that.
Man, it is really interesting to me that they decided to pivot on the gameplay, the core gameplay mechanic in this from the first one instead of just building on that.
I'm okay with it, not because I hated the first Control, but it wasn't the strongest part for me. Their shooting and stuff, I thought it was serviceable.
It was
good, it was good. Serviceable to good, let's say. Wasn't my favorite part, so them making a left turn here, it doesn't bother me that much. Because what I've seen of the combat in it does seem interesting. It does seem very juggle kinetic heavy.
At the end of the demo, they did show a slightly later portion of the game that I was able to play that just had more combat things unlocked, like special abilities and stuff. It was basically just like a walled off area where I could fight a bunch of enemies and just see what that stuff felt like. So it's a pretty good combat flow, I will say. Like I felt like I was getting into it pretty easily. But as far as the traversal stuff is concerned, like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you get out of the oldest house, like everything is fucking weird in Manhattan, obviously, and there's like a lot of jumping around. And so Dylan's kit is mostly like jumps, double dashes, things like that through the air. So you're not swinging through New York, but you are flying around like a motherfucker. These different what weird parts of Manhattan. So it seems like they have really built this to almost be an action platformer in a way.
So you can fall and respawn, like you will.
Yes.
Okay, you're not like on the street level ground. You are in the air.
You are on the road, but the road is in the air in chunks, basically.
I mean, for folks who haven't seen it, I don't know how to describe it other than if it looks like the Doctor Strange multiverse city is
it's
folding
that sort
on
of like kaleidoscopic,
Inception,
the kind of vision of it.
So as you're kind of platforming and moving around and getting into enemy encounters, did you hit any narrative beats, or did they leave that out of the demo?
There is a cutscene at the end of that demo that kind of hints at maybe some of the FBC stuff and maybe sort of like what they know about what is going on here, but that's just hints. It's not anything that really unveiled anything. It seemed like the big story beat was you and this one FBC agent that you are kind of interacting with throughout that first act. Like, she's on her own. Her team is all dead. She's trying to reconvene with some of the other FBC people. And then she finds out, oh, wait, you were imprisoned in the oldest house. That's not great. And you kind of have to get her to trust you at a certain point.
So I guess my biggest concern for, and it sounds like maybe you didn't quite have this revealed to you, my biggest concern for Control 2 or Control Resonant versus Control is some of my favorite parts of Control were, and we've talked about this a lot, are the parts in the where Jesse is kind of encountering this incredibly bizarre but also incredibly mundane cataloging of the
paranatural bureaucracy stuff. Yeah.
Like, hey, this is a clock that just kind of like replicates over and over and over and over, or like, was it the stare at the fridge thing?
Yeah, so you have to stare at the fridge. Well, I mean, so I will say the almost instantly the slide projector, the thing that is sort of like tied to the Faden family, comes up. Like,
it's all the SCP, like object of power stuff from the first game. Like, that's actually kind of the thing I was going to ask is, like, I assume there's the same level of controlness to this game, for lack of a better word. I mean,
in terms of vibes, yes.
Yeah, like there's all the SCP stuff from the original, but also I would say Control has the best text-based collectibles I've ever seen in a video game. Like, I devoured like a lot of, I mean, I'm at the point these days where a lot of games that have text collectible pickups, I kind of skim to gloss over, let's say.
Save it for later.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe I'll like go catch up on these in bulk at some point. But like the Control ones, I read voraciously because they were just so fascinating. And like, I assume all that stuff is still in here despite not being set inside the building anymore.
Yeah. So I will say, if you are asking me, have I seen Dr. Darling recently and how is he doing? I can say I have seen Dr. Darling recently and I know how he's doing, or at least I knew how he was doing before all this started.
Yeah, there was a little clip of him in the Summer Game Fest presentation too, so I assume, I mean, whatever, they know what side their bread is buttered on. Like, there's going to be plenty of control in this Control game.
Yeah, the trailer, I don't know if you saw the trailer they showed, Alex, but it was much less action focused than the initial one and much more weird shit going on. A lot of cool cutscenes, a lot of stuff that was in the trailer that looked like combat but staged cinematically. I don't know if you got any of that, but
I didn't see much of that in the demo they let me play, because the demo I played, other than the kind of bookending of cutscenes and like a little bit that set up like the, you know, sort of the jump zone that he goes into.
Yeah.
There was like the gameplay was the gameplay. Like, I was just kind of running through that whole act, and there wasn't a lot to take away from the moment to moment, other than little interstitial bits with that other FBC agent.
What'd you play it on?
I believe it was a PS5 Pro.
Okay. Looks pretty good.
It seemed to run very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they have maybe been able to finagle this one to work within the console platforms of the current time a little better than last time.
Yeah, that's good. The first Control is like one of the worst performing tight action games I have played in a long time.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
They got it better, but I will say I did play that game on a PS4 regular, and that was like the worst decision I have ever made.
It was rough.
That's good to hear. And it sounds like you had a lot of have more confidence in their combat now that you've played it. Like, feels pretty good.
It feels good. And you know, I played a boss fight. It was pretty readable and fun. Like, everything they're doing is different in a way, but it still feels like Control. Like, I at no point did I say this feels like a different game, you know, other than the fact that it just combat's different.
How is Dylan as a character? Is he brooding? Is he moody? Is he fun? Is he
exasperated? Is how I would describe it. Like,
okay,
Shawn Ashmore?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't 100% look like him, but it looks enough like him to where it's not a direct likeness, but it's close enough.
You're right, actually. Like, every time I see the character in the game, I forget that it's him, because you're right, it doesn't really look exactly like him.
But the performances are good. Jesse's there. Like, the stuff with Jesse feels like weighty. Like, I think they are giving their all here.
Cool.
Is Shawn Ashmore, Sam Lakes, David Lynch's, Kyle? Oh my God,
MacLachlan.
God, that's a lot of names to keep straight.
Yeah, that was a lot. But is he their muse now? I think.
Like he's been in every one of their games since
Quantum Break.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, was he
was
Dylan in the first one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay. And I know he was in Alan Wake. I remember him in Alan Wake.
He was the main character in Quantum Break. He was Dylan in Control, and he, I don't know how big a role he had in Alan Wake 2.
He was a cop in Alan Wake 2, wasn't he?
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I liked what I saw in that game a lot.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. That's what I'm excited for.
That sounds promising.
One of the 3,800 games coming out in September.
Yeah.
So you caught wind of that there as well, huh?
Dog, okay, let me just, real quick, before we get to a break and we get on to the rest of the games, I just want to say the prevailing feeling from everyone who got a question about release dates and things like that was straight up, there's no good time to put video games out. We understand this. It was straight up just like, hey, we know. We don't know what else to do right now.
Right. So they're just navigating the landscape, basically.
Everybody is exasperated about this as we are.
Okay. Well, good to know. And look, if you're playing games around September, hey, guess what? You're
probably still going to be playing them in October.
Your cup runneth over.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it seems like the bulk of the concentration is that last week of September. Like there's like multiple games on the 24th, and I think this is one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But that's still 6 weeks before GTA, so like, you know, you don't have to play everything in September. Like, you've got a good month and a half there before, assuming you even care about GTA in the first place. Like,
sure.
There's plenty of room for, I mean, this doesn't help people trying to review games in a timely way necessarily, but there is some buffer.
And but at the same time, someone is only going to be able to play a few of those games before GTA 6 comes out if they do care about that.
Yeah. Although there's going to be even less coming out after GTA. So
it's a dead zone after that.
So like what was the 1 December release that we saw in
Nintendo?
Nintendo's got, I forget which game is coming out in December that they announced yesterday, but like basically from the end of September until the end of the year, you've kind of got all that time to play these games.
And look, I don't want to. I want to recognize that this is a mostly covering games problem. If you are there to just enjoy and purchase games,
enjoy the spoils is what
play
I
what
say.
you want.
Yeah, go play. I'm just looking at a thing now that last week is Control Resonant, Silent Hill, Townfall, Onimusha, and then if you want to get in on Ace Combat early, you can. But the week before that is also Wolverine, and that is the week before that of Dawn of War 4. Look, there's a lot of stuff in September.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, Alex, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and kind of run down some more stuff you saw. You have a big list.
Many more games to talk about.
Yeah. So let's take a quick break here and we'll come back and talk more about it. So stick around. This week's show is brought to you by Whatnot. Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, you probably don't know this about me, but I have a lot of stuff I collect.
You?
Yeah, me, Vinny Caravella. I have a lot of things that I like to buy.
Shocking.
And I maybe have a lot of things I might need to get rid of and or sell.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you actually have more of a sickness than you do just a basic condition.
Have you guys heard about Whatnot? It seems to be a place for people who want to buy and or sell things. Alex Navarro, we've been tooling around in the Whatnots.
Yes, in the app.
I saw some stuff. They got Transformers on there.
Yeah.
Somebody's selling Transformers. I could be on there selling Transformers too.
Listen, I got on there. I immediately plugged in the 2 or 3 things that my collector brain is deeply sick for, and I found a bunch of things that, you know, were at least related to things I wanted, if not the actual things. And they seem to have a mix of, you know, you can just buy stuff in the way you would on, like, any other app in this vein, but they also have these live streams where you can bid live with various sellers.
So Whatnot describes itself here as the largest dedicated live shopping platform. Whether it's beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, I'll add in Transformers here. Sellers are building real, thriving businesses, and anyone can sell. Whether your business is big, small, or yet to exist, people selling on Whatnot sell 10 times more than on other major marketplaces, and that's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. Across Whatnot, the number of sellers making over $1 million a year has doubled. Damn it, I've got a lot of Transformers that need to go, folks.
This wrestling mask collection isn't going to thin itself out by itself.
Whatnot buyers spend more than an hour a day in the app. They're not just browsing, they're engaged, buying and coming back. You go live, like you said, Alex, show off products in real time and turn what you love into real income. How do you get in on the action? You can search Whatnot WHATNOT in the App Store. Download and start selling right away. Thanks, Whatnot. This week's show is brought to you by Beta Hat. Alex and Brad. Did you ever play a video game?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably saw someone play one, once in a while. Yeah,
I hear it's very big these days.
Yeah.
Watching people play games,
and it can be frustrating sometimes when you're watching somebody play a game or actually playing a game and being like, "Man, that is who designed this thing? How did this make it through some kind of process?
Who thought this was a good idea?
Words
I'm sure I've said to myself before.
The answer is you.
The answer could be you. So Beta Hat is a company that is run by a friend of ours, an ex-coworker, Stan Kwan. Let me just give you a second here in this brief ad to say Stan is one of the people who inherited the responsibility of managing Giant Bomb when we moved over to CBS/CNET, right after the Whiskey Media sale. Stan was awesome. He's one of the few people who actually understood what Giant Bomb was about. And now he runs a company that tries to understand or put developers in touch with people who will play their games to understand what is making them tick and makes the game tick. He basically runs focus groups.
Yeah. You've heard of a focus group. It's where they put you in a room, they give you a product, and they say, what do you think about it?
Yeah, and we've talked with Stan about this, and we've talked with him before this opportunity even came up. He runs focus groups for all sorts of companies, very big ones, games that we can't mention here that you've heard of. And he basically came to us and said, I need good people. I need people that know what they're talking about because these developers are actually listening to the feedback they're getting. And when the feedback is bad, the developers are then listening to bad feedback. Your audience knows what they are talking about. He knows the Giant Bomb audience, knows that these are people who are way into games and are knowledgeable. So
how can I get in on this, Vinny?
You can get in on the focus groups and play tests and do surveys and all this stuff by either heading to betahatrc.com. That's betahatrc.com. And when you sign up there, tell them Nextlander sent you. Or if you want to head over to our Discord channel, the Nextlander Discord, you can go and see an announcement we put up, and that'll have more instructions about how you can get alerts and updates during this campaign when Beta Hat has a new focus group or new announcement to go up. So betahatrc.com, or you can head over to our Discord and you can check out the announcement over there. Remember, tell them Nextlander sent you and say hi to Matt, Rory, and Stan when you're over there. Thanks, Beta Hat. All right, we are back. Alex, you have a ton more stuff. Brad, is there something you want to pluck off this list? Pick Alex's brain about?
What to pick? I mean, the thing I want to hear about is Resident Evil Veronica, but I already know from talking to you that they probably didn't show or say too much more than what was on stage.
No, they didn't. So here's what I can tell you, is that they did show a video. The video was basically just a lore dump of all the stuff that led up to Code Veronica in the larger Resident Evil lore.
Okay.
And then kind of emphasize that, like, yes, this is a branching story path, but boy, did they hammer the idea that we are treating this like it is a numbered sequel remake and not just some side game.
And not to put the cart before the horse here, but that's really my overriding thought looking at this remake is this is kind of the last one. I'm not saying it's the last one they will do, but it is the last one they should do.
From that era, yes.
Because, like, that's a Dreamcast game. It's already 3D.
Yeah.
They've already done RE4, which is around, actually, it was just later than this. Like, where would they go from here? 5? Like, 5, do not remake Resident Evil 5. Like, that game does not need a remake. Or 6 for that matter. Definitely not 6. I mean, I guess you could argue maybe they could make 6 better in the process. But, like, and I think, wasn't it was like last week that either Capcom said or came out through analysis that Resident Evil is like half of their annual game sales for a while, or maybe was last year.
It's huge for them right now.
I mean, like, I get why they're pumping these things out.
But like over a Monster Hunter and some of their other big
that may come down to just how many of these they're shipping. You know, like they've been putting out a lot of Resident Evil games,
right. Yeah,
a lot. But like I'm excited that they're doing this because I liked Code Veronica at the time, and like it's cool that they're going to give it its due and like blow it up into this big thing. But then I don't know where they're going to go after this, because they certainly want to keep putting out RE games.
Totally. Well, here's the thing. So Hirabayashi was there, the producer of RE Remake 2 and 4, who is the lead on this one as well.
Wait, sorry, say it again, 2 and 4?
Yeah, Remake 2 and Remake 4.
Oh, wow, okay.
4.
That's very promising for this game.
So the only real salient detail I remember anyone asking about and actually getting a real answer for was, is this game going to be third person or a split perspective? And they said, no, it's just third person, I think.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, which is fine. I don't really have a preference that way, one way or the other. But
I mean, that's like the first game or the original.
The problem, okay, and I appreciated that Hirabayashi was there, but like, you could tell there was nothing he could really tell you that wouldn't have been some kind of spoiler for something down the road. Like, people kept asking about, like, hey, what's Wesker's role going to be in this? Are you changing anything with regards to how characters are portrayed in this or anything like that? And he just kept saying, we are in the middle of development. We are working on this. There's a lot of things you have left to be revealed. And again, the thing they kept hammering was that, like, we are putting a lot of effort in this. We are treating it like it's one of the numbered sequels. But he just couldn't really say that much. And I kind of felt bad that they flew him all the way out there just to kind of not be able to answer most of the questions, at least in the session I was in, that he was getting.
Yeah, that's a shame. They showed a long demo of RE9 last year in that same setting.
Yeah, the thing you saw that was the announcement trailer was more substantial than the video they showed behind closed doors, honestly.
That's a bummer. I mean, was the lore thing just a recap? Like, it was just all stuff people know? It's not like new stuff they're coming up with for this game to tie it in or anything?
No, and they did not even really talk that deep about what the Veronica lore is in the context of this, other than this is where these protagonists ended up. Maybe you remember from 2, this is what happened in 3, what was happening. Well, now they're over here.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about that stuff. I played that game once. I remember something about a giant moth, I think, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But did the name Steve come up at all?
Someone asked about Steve. I don't think anything notable was answered.
Okay. Steve is famously their extremely snivelly Leonardo DiCaprio stand-in from that game that I assume is probably going to get some massaging.
I do get the impression they will probably do a little work on some of the characterizations that maybe people don't love.
So I don't know much about Code Veronica, and I'm sorry. I swear I have played most of these games, but not Code Veronica. When you said a branching path, do you mean in the remakes they have shuffled the deck a bit, or with 3 they shuffled the deck?
What is it? It's fucking Claire.
Claire is the main character of this game.
So basically, what they're saying is that, like, where Leon went over here to 4, Claire kind of diverged into a different direction and went off in this other story tangent, basically.
It's all just what was happening when and who was where at the time.
I misunderstood. I
Not change. They weren't talking about the changes in the story necessarily. More just like, hey, these characters were together for a while and then they went off in these other directions.
Meanwhile,
Code Veronica was like kind of portrayed as a spinoff at the time. Although I think part of that is because they sort of this is me reading a lot into it. Didn't feel like the Dreamcast deserved a numbered Resident Evil game.
That's funny. Or
just the way that so many publishers were very tentative in their support of the Dreamcast at the time.
So Code Veronica, sorry if this is a really silly question. When did that release in terms of between what and what? Was that between 3 and 4 or 2 and 3?
It came out in 2000, which is definitely way before 4.
It was after 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's like not long after. I think is that a year after 3, I think?
Roughly,
and then but yeah, that's the year after 3, and then 4 came out much later.
Okay, so it's between a 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And then Remake 3, which I think, Alex, we watched Abby play, Resident Evil Remake.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 3 Remake. I have not kept like my finger on the pulse, but is that one not as beloved as Remake 2 and
Remake
4?
3?
Not
absolutely,
hated,
absolutely
but not as beloved. No,
it's definitely seen as a pretty big disappointment after 2.
After 2,
sounds like they maybe gave that one to a B team to work on.
Yeah, and there's actually a mod coming out for 3 right now. There's like a bunch of cut content that they are trying to restore.
Officially?
To the 3. No, well, I mean, it's not an official mod. It's a fan mod, but there's a bunch of content that they found that didn't make it into the final game. Like the remake of 3 is quite short.
Okay.
So
I think I maybe only watched, I can't even remember if I played it. I have to apologize to people who follow Resident Evil lore very closely. I don't. But I like the games. I play it. It's very confusing to me.
Yeah.
I have a hard time remembering my kids' names. I just cannot keep track of where everybody is.
It's fine. I mean, look, I've played every Resident Evil and finished almost all of them, and I don't give much of a shit either.
It's like but I do kind of care. I just think it's so dumb that I don't leave a lot of serious space in my head for it.
Fair.
But I will try this one when it comes out, because this one I really have zero.
It's basically going to be new for you.
Yeah, it really is. So I'm very curious about it. And that's just 2027, right? That I think so. Yeah. Okay. All right. Should we move on to another one of the?
Give me another one.
Okay, let's get another one. Silent Hill Townfall. What'd you see of that?
So that was a theater demo. They showed like a slice of like moment to moment stuff in that. That is interesting. It's very much a horror walking simulator with definitely some combat. Like there is some stealth and some combat, but a lot of what they showed was just like mood piece, like walking around foggy, small village in Scotland. And I think I only really saw one or two enemies in that entire demo, like by design. So it seemed more about the mood and sort of setting the tone with the portable TV and sort of how the puzzles kind of work with that. So basically the way it works is you have this portable television that's sort of like the radio in the old Silent Hill games, and you can use it to kind of track both signals that are coming from other characters. There's this other woman named Zoe who seems to be the one person who is like you're tracking down messages from and other things from in the town. But when enemies are around, you can kind of hone in on their signal, and you can look like through a building, you can see the path they are taking around the corner or the edge, and you can kind of plot where they're moving so you know when to move and when to strike. You can also peek around corners and stuff like that.
So does it feel in what they showed you, did it feel like it was less get out there with your gun and more avoid the enemy or wait for a strategic point to attack?
The only combat they showed was hand-to-hand. There was no guns. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I don't know. It was a pipe or some other blunt weapon that they were using. I'm
no Silent Hill expert, but I've hit people with a pipe a lot in Silent Hill.
My immediate impression of like the visual style and kind of the moment-to-moment walking and all that stuff, okay, it's not exactly like this, but it's just the thing I thought of is it kind of reminded me of Firewatch. Like there was a little bit of that, just you're walking around, you're drinking in the atmosphere of where you are. There is not a lot around to distract you. So it just kind of had that feel to it. Like I said, I don't use walking simulator pejoratively. I'm just saying that is kind of the style of the game, it felt like.
Yeah, and that game fixated on the radio in a way that it sounds like this game does similarly on the TV. I like the TV stuff looks cool from what they've put out. Like I like a screen within a screen thing, and it seems like a good version of that.
And this game is being made by extremely Scottish people. They are very proud of the fact that they are putting the most rural Scotland they possibly can into this game. In fact, I learned a thing about Scotland and the greater UK during watching this demo. There is a house you go into at one point, and there's no power, and you need to power it on, and it has a machine attached to it that I didn't know existed. Did you know that in the 80s and 90s, you could buy prepaid cards for power in the UK?
I did not know that.
And you would slide the card into the slot, and then electricity would turn on, and then when it ran out, it would turn off.
Nope.
So apparently that was a feature of council housing a lot.
Okay. And so you had to go like recharge the card.
Yes, you would go down to the local newsstand and pay to get your card filled.
Okay.
That probably will be good to know playing this game.
And like without more information and out of context, that doesn't sound great.
No, I don't think they do it anymore. I mean, maybe some of those old council houses still have that, but I don't think they continue to that program.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Like again, divorced from any context. I don't know about that one.
So I think you're on a small island in this too. It's not like main, you're not in Glasgow. You're not in one of the main cities. Like it seems like it is a small village.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. If anything, it sounds like a good horror game mechanic because you have to go out and go.
Yeah, it's spooky.
Put the power on. Yeah,
it's got a good spooky flavor to it.
I mean, I think when I'd said this back when I was playing Silent Hill F, but I love this idea of them just sort of farming the franchise out to different developers to do different takes.
Yeah, give us your version. See what you got
on Silent Hill.
All right. Anything else to say about Silent Hill, or should we switch
Not
into
really.
another? Okay.
It was a short slice of gameplay. Like it just kind of gave you a feel for like what moving around in that environment looks like and what you might be doing. It seems, novel enough. Like I definitely want to see what that final version looks like.
That's Silent Hill Townfall. That's also out in September. Is Screenburn the developer? Does that ring a bell? Okay.
They made Observation and Stories Untold. I don't know if you remember either of those games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Annapurna is attached to this, at least in
They're
the
publishing.
IGDB. Oh, they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's still weird. Like, just they're straight up the publisher.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like Konami is basically just kind of a licensor
holder?
in this
I guess
arrangement.
so, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that is a bit of a weird one.
Huh.
I think Konami just wants to make money any way it can
Oh,
right
yeah,
now. Which,
totally,
you know what,
totally.
they seem to have the right approach to it.
Yeah, totally. Actually, like, I mean, whatever we said this last time, there was some stream or something. I think that like there's somebody is making good decisions at Konami
Yeah, surprisingly good.
about what to do with like that Castlevania thing that Evil Empire / Motion Twin / whoever made Dead Cells is doing. Is coming out in October. Like they're just doing interesting things with their IP.
All right,
Brad, what do you got?
I guess why don't we stay on the survival horror thing and talk about The Lost Wild?
Okay, that was the next one I saw right after Silent Hill. So that game is interesting. The premise is you're a character who wakes up after a car accident. You're on an island and you don't know how you got there, and there's fucking dinosaurs running around. It appears that there is some sort of Japanese corporation or science concern or something that is running that island. The only characters you run into either are speaking Japanese or speak in a heavily Japanese accent, at least in the demo that I saw. And their big hook for that one is that the dinosaur behavior is modeled on real predator-prey behavior, which is to say that it is not like there might be certain scripted sequences where a dinosaur is meant to show up, but the way that it approaches the scene is not scripted. And they said that even during some of the demos they did, sometimes the dinosaur wasn't where they thought it was going to be because the dinosaur was just hunting around doing what it was going to do.
Oh, that's rad. I love dynamic AI behavior type stuff.
Mm-hmm. So the Allosaur was the big one they showed, which is a pretty sizable dinosaur, but isn't like a T-Rex giant or anything like that. It'll definitely fuck you up. And they show a bit where a Allosaur just dives right into one of those scientist guys that's running around. And you can't really fight them from what the way they format it. This feel like maybe there's stuff later in the game they don't show that lets you at least mitigate some of the combat encounters or something. But initially, all you can do is run and hide and try and get away from them. And it seems like they're reasonably generous with the staying in grass cover. Like they can't see you if you're not moving or making a lot of noise stuff. But you have to not be in the light and you have to not be making noise because if you are doing that, it will figure out where you are.
So, does that seem frustrating to you? Like sometimes stealth games can be very it's fun the first time and not fun the seventh time you're trying to get through a sequence, especially if there's dynamic stuff happening.
Well, let me tell you about the real fucker of this whole thing that they kind of just dropped casually, and I was like, oh, that's mean. You have save tokens in this game.
Oh,
you will find diskettes around the environment that you can use to save your game in specific locations.
now is that required? Because like even Resident Evil just offers the ink ribbons as an optional like hardcore mode these days.
Dog, I don't know. They didn't really elaborate on that, but they did say saves were limited. You had to find these tokens or these discs, and you would have to plug them in at various locations. Now, the thing I don't know is how many of them there are and how often you'll be finding them. So maybe they're generous with that.
Right. Yeah.
But it definitely sounded like if you ain't got one of these, you're fucked.
Don't get eaten by an Allosaur.
You know, like reading more into their dynamic enemy behavior type stuff. Like maybe they want you to replay stuff. Like maybe they're counting on encounters playing out differently being enough to make you okay with replaying.
Potentially, yeah.
Frequently.
It does feel like a very considered decision. And I think it just boils down to, well, let's just see how frustrating this is in practice.
Right. That's an interesting choice.
The dinosaurs looked real nice.
Yeah, this is
the
a
ones
good
I
looking
saw
game.
anyway.
Did it now we saw this during the Sony showcase?
Was it the Sony?
Because I think
one?
Alex, you were there.
Yeah,
when they showed,
I was
right?
there for
Oh,
it.
it was
Because
the
we kept
Sony
saying
one.
that.
Yes.
Did they just make a Jurassic Park game? What the fuck?
That's what I was going to ask you. Did it get away from Jurassic Park once you were in there? Like,
I think so. I mean,
Okay.
they don't imply that this is not a theme park. It's a research facility. And two, it does not feel like anyone is supposed to know these dinosaurs are around. other than this Japanese corporation that seems to be working on this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, certainly Jurassic Park doesn't own the market on humans.
I mean, they kind of have for the most part, but
well, they have a certain brand, but there are other watch out for dinosaur problems out there.
Yeah.
Dino Crisis. That was my first thought when this came on that stream was, A, is this a new Dino Crisis? And then B, no. Because it's not a new Dino Crisis, there was a need in the market.
Perhaps.
And Annapurna is filling it, along with Grade 8 games.
Neat. So that is just 2027. No actual date on that, right?
They did not elaborate on a date or anything for that.
That is The Lost Wild, the dinosaur game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can I ask you about some goofier things?
Sure.
How about Mr. Records?
Okay. I'm not saying this was the best game I played at the show, but it might have been my personal favorite just because it feels like they made it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. That was definitely one of the standout. This was on the Day of the Devs stream that we talked over, and I don't know if you saw the clip they put out. There was a lot of performance, or there's a lot of footage in there of them performing, recording the songs for this game. They
Behind
spent
the
a lot of time.
Stuff, yeah.
The developers of this game seem like pretty talented multi-instrumentalist types who just did all the music themselves along with collaborators.
They got a couple of guest vocalists in, I think, and that was it. Otherwise, it was all done internally.
Once you lay out Mr. Records.
So you play a curmudgeonly old man, not like a mean one, but kind of a cranky old guy. He's opening a record store late in life, presumably because, he just wants to live his dream before he can't anymore. And it's what I call a 2 games for 1 situation, kind of like, a Dave the Diver or whatever. There is the management sim aspect, and there is the rhythm heaven-like gameplay. So each night, you basically can buy new records or acquire new records that will eventually be sold in your store. But the way to sell them is to play through the levels that are attached to them. So Mr. Records himself doesn't just like music. He likes to imagine worlds when he listens to music. And that's what the gameplay is the imagined world he is going through while he is listening to this music. And when I call it Rhythm Heaven, it's not exactly Rhythm Heaven, but it's close because it has that you are beat matching with the sort of individual jump, kick, sort of slide kind of mechanics. And sometimes they will even do a metronome countdown thing of click, 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 go kind of stuff that feels very Rhythm Heaven. So all that stuff is pretty easy to figure out, especially if you've played any rhythm games, but there are harder versions of the levels, and it seems like it gets pretty tricky. They're throwing new things at you with new songs and stuff like that.
And then how about the management side of your record store?
So during the day, you're running the store, and then customers will come in and they will ask you for specific things about hey, this person I'm buying this record for wants this thing, or they know they like old funk music or something like that, and you have to find that record for them and get it to them.
Oh, and that's about it.
And then you earn money from that to buy more records.
And then that's a new level, basically?
Yeah. But there's a decent amount of little narrative in there. You have a best friend who's kind of egging you on through a lot of this. It seems like you will develop relationships with the customers over time. So that seems to be the real thrust of it.
And you really enjoyed it.
I really did. I don't know if it's that guy, but there is a guy who does vocals for some of the songs they showed who sounds so much like the singer for this one electro group from the 2000s called Fujiya and Miyagi that I asked the lady, and she was like, I don't know. And I felt like such a dork because I'm okay, most people don't know this group. I don't even know why I'm asking, but I'm just asking because it just triggered a thing in my brain that had not been triggered in a long time.
Did you play it at Day of the Devs? Were you?
Yeah, they had the big open area of the show was mostly Day of the Devs stuff and a few other developers that were just hey, come play fucking Star Wars Racer or whatever. And there was a big line of Day of the Devs games, and that was one of them.
Very cool. I don't know if that has any release date information, but that is Mr. Records.
The woman who was the producer or the dev rep there, I just turned to her and I was like, did you make this game for me? Do you know me? Are we friends somehow? I don't know what happened. She seemed very elated that I liked it so much.
Lovely. Brad, do you want to pick something else off of this list? Or
you did not see Galactic Racer, right?
I watched someone play Galactic Racer for a while, and I will say that game looks really sharp.
Okay, that's good.
Really crisp looking.
I didn't realize that's former Criterion people working on that.
I mean, there's former Criterion people working on every driving game known to man, right? Because like they all kind of pass through there at various times.
Yeah, although specifically on the Star Wars stuff, not to digress too much here, it's like the Galactic Racer has Criterion people working on it, and I probably should have known this. Zero Company, that Star Wars XCOM game that's also coming out around that time, has XCOM people working on it.
Right.
Like they are just getting veterans of those types of games. And anyway, that's cool.
Smart move.
What do I want to hear about here? I had not heard of this until I looked at your list, but I was just looking it up. Grave Seasons. Looks like it's Stardew Valley with a serial killer.
Yeah, that's it. Pretty much.
Okay.
It is a straight-up detective story couched in a farming game. It's another twofer. This is the kind of game that does not show very well in this kind of environment, but I will say I was charmed by the little bit that I got to play. It is a lot of like 2D, like pixelated graphics, but all the character art is extremely the Supergiant Gen Z, look at these hot people kind of characterizations.
Yes.
They, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean.
100% no. I've never heard that specific micro aesthetic phenomenon described so succinctly before.
And to be clear, I'm not talking about Generation Z. I'm talking about the artist Gen Z who works for Supergiant.
But you're right though. Like that style of like even in a pixel, like whatever aesthetic your actual game has, your art is like extremely lavish, high fidelity illustration of, again, people who are very hot.
Yes. So, like, I didn't get a lot of the farming stuff, though it's very much it seems like you overtake a farm but from someone who died, and you might actually be an escaped convict or something that is on the run, and you're just pretending to be, like, the heir of this farm or whatever. But then you're interacting with the townspeople. It has that Stardew Valley thing, but then there's, like, murders that happen, and you have to, like, solve those murders over time.
And this is a Blumhouse game?
Blumhouse.
I believe this is Blumhouse, yeah.
Okay.
It is, yeah. They're the kind of the horror people.
Is the developer Perfect Garbage? Does that
Perfect
ring a bell?
Garbage.
That appear to be the name of the developer.
That's a pretty
yes.
good name.
Pretty good name for a developer.
Yeah.
So like I said, not like a shower at this kind of environment, but it was enough to make me intrigued by it.
Yeah, that seems like a neat hook.
Grave Seasons. I think that's got a 2026, maybe Q3 date on it. There's a bunch of other stuff on here. Why
don't you just each give me one more, and then I'll run through a few other highlights that I have.
A game that I really liked when I saw the demo for it was My Arms Are Longer Now. And we should say that there is a Steam Next Fest coming out in like next week, I think.
Of course there is.
And also there's a lot of demos are out now. Oh, yeah. Can I get a 2-for-1?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I want to hear about My Arms Are Longer Now, and it just reminded me of the demo, Screenbound. Okay. So if you can address these two games, Mr. Navarro, thank you.
So I will just say My Arms Are Longer Now is being published by Jackbox Games. Abby Russell, friend of the site, was very much like they're working that booth along with one of her other colleagues.
She was exhibiting?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She wasn't there every day. Like the third day, I think she was like, I'm not coming in because there aren't as many people. But
one of my favorite phenomena from this specific line of work is when people we have worked with then end up on the the other side.
We did that when I was at Harmonix. I was on your camera with you guys a couple of times.
You did that. Matt Rory has done that. Now Abby has done just the coworker in media to exhibitor on the other side phenomenon is very fun.
So I present this just to let you know, yes, we do have friends that work there, but I'm being honest when I say I was very charmed by My Arms Are Longer Now. It's a short demo, it's literally just I think part of one level maybe, but it was enough to get a feel for what it is, which is to say it is a pickpocketing, robbing simulator where you are basically just jamming a, snake-like long arm through an environment. The one they showed was a train robbery. You were trying to get a briefcase off a lady that had it handcuffed to her arm. Okay. And there's other little goofy bits around the edges where you can steal people's wallets, pick up random objects to distract people, things like that. The demo itself was just a hair unpolished. Sometimes I felt like the going up and down mechanic wasn't quite working the way I wanted it to. But the immediate charm of it was very what was that extremely British game from a couple of years ago?
Thank you for waiting.
Thank you for waiting. Yeah. But it's like the Australian version of that, which is to say it is very goofy. It has a little bit of that, oh no, my briefcase, kind of shit. But it's funny. It's cute. And the actual stealing stuff is really goofy in a way that I kind of dug.
Wait, that may not have been. I may have gotten the name of that other game wrong.
I think you should leave. No, I think you should.
Definitely not that.
Thank goodness you're here.
Thank goodness you're here. There it is.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Thank goodness you're here.
Is this the first game that Jackbox has published that they didn't make?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't find another one on their Steam page. That's cool. It's nice.
This is them dipping their toe into that world.
Yeah, it's nice to see more people getting into that game.
I think that also maybe just has a 2026 date with no actual release, but I'm curious for that one. And then Screenbound, if you please.
Yeah, so
Alex.
I will say Screenbound didn't super do it for me, but I think it's more just that it's not really my kind of game than it is anything wrong with it. So it's a platformer sort of adventure game, but the hook is that you have a magical Game Boy that you are holding through a lot of the levels that you were playing. So there's a big open 3D environment that you're like jumping around in, solving, grabbing the things you need to do. But then like on the Game Boy screen is the 2D version of that shows you doing whatever you're doing. And there are puzzles that you need the Game Boy to solve, which is to say there are hidden doors, ladders, other things. So you have to hold that screen up to those places to see like where that stuff is.
So when you're moving around and going through the environment, are you doing it in the 3D realm or the 2D realm?
Both.
Or both? Both.
It's both at the same time. And there are certain levels, like bonus levels, that are 2D only, but that's it.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about it when they showed it. I forget where. Maybe it was just SGF. That this is a thing that I feel like you probably need to get your mind around. That because when you just watch it, Brad and I were watching. It's like, oh, this is kind of cross-eye inducing.
So they literally have a mechanic where you can decide how high up you want the Game Boy to be at any time. Like if you want to keep it at a low level so that you aren't distracted while you're going through the 3D environments, you can do that.
Is there a name for their fake Game Boy?
Yes, I forget what it is, but it has its own fake Game Boy name.
That is out. Is it the Q Boy?
I think it is the Q Boy, yes.
Okay. That is out September 10th. And you can check that out. All right.
Brad, you got one more before I just start watching this other stuff?
Of the games that are not under embargo that you can talk about, I kind of can't believe I'm saying this, but Turok Origins I'm kind of curious about.
You know what? That's as good as one as any because I was legitimately a little bit surprised that I enjoyed it at all. I'm not a big Turok head. Like, I really have not played much Turok since the N64 era, so like I'm just not a big fan of that franchise. I think they have a novel enough approach to this thing, which is to say it's just a co-op shooter. You can play first person or third person. It's 3 players co-op. There's 3 different class types. And there might be others too, but they showed 3 different class types. And they all have their own different, accoutrement and weapon setups and all that, and their own special abilities. But you're just running around these environments as a co-op thing, and you are, taking on waves of enemies as they come along and fighting bosses and what have you.
So, what are you playing as Turok? If it's co-op, like, are they like unnamed characters, or like what's the deal?
Let me put it this way: there's some radio chatter in there where someone just addresses somebody as Turok, and I have no idea which person that's supposed to be.
Okay.
So I don't really have a great sense of what the lore of this is, or really what the story of any of it is. I just know that all the characters, they have distinctly, sort of indigenous presentations. Their abilities definitely seem to be tied into that world. And you are fighting dinosaurs. It seems like a totally cromulent shooter. I would not say it was like it blew me away or anything. But if you just are looking for an excuse to shoot some shit with your buddies, it seemed all right. It seemed fun enough.
The footage of it actually looks halfway decent. All the dinosaur killing action,
murder. Brad, I'll say this. Maybe Turok is more of an idea than a person because the Steam page says play as the legendary Turok warriors to face off. So
maybe they're a team now.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know of Turok is those old original games. I don't know anything about the comics, so maybe this is more faithful to the comic in some way. I don't know.
By the way, also I'm an idiot. It's a 4-player co-op. I forgot.
Okay.
Or is it? Shit, I can't remember because there was 3-player and 4-player co-op things that I did. And I might just be mixing them together, but I think I thought it was 3 players, but maybe I'm out of my mind.
Let's see. I'll see if the Steam page
confirm
says,
it for me. I just want to know.
Well, this says solo or with friends. So,
great.
Yeah.
I think it was 3.
I've said this before. I really wish Steam would incorporate into their data number of players.
I'm standing on 3. I'm going to stick with 3 for now. And if I'm wrong, please at home tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds fair.
I did play with a team, and the team, we had a pretty good time playing.
Look, I'm not gonna. You can't blame you. You were with a lot of people.
I played a lot of video games over the last 3 days. To be fair,
the screenshots I'm looking at, I never see more than 3 people in a screenshot. So
all right, so I'm right. I think Fireteam Elite was the 4-player one that I played. So
could just be that the 4th person's off taking the picture. You know?
Yeah, maybe. All right.
Yes.
So I'm not going to talk about every single game that I saw. I'm going to talk about the stuff that was the highlights, but. The other meaty gameplay demo that I did was Onimusha, Way of the Sword, and it was a different demo than the one they have up on Steam and other or consoles, and it is coming to Steam, I think. So it was a different section of that game. They also showed a different theater demo that had other stuff that was not in the demo that I played. I am not an Onimusha expert. Let me just say this right out of the gate here. I've literally the only one of those I've played was the one that had Jean Reno in it. So I am by no means coming from this from a perspective of knowledge. Maybe you guys can fill in some blanks for me. But this is an open world adventure. You're playing, Musashi, what's his name? The swordsman. And you're fighting Oni, demons, what have you, that have infected a bunch of different places. And it's, the sword combat is heavy. The impression I got is that it is not as aggro about trying to do serious sword shit the way maybe some of the older games were. Like you are parrying, you are blocking, you are doing a lot of sword play, but it does feel like maybe they have streamlined a little bit of that from at least what I remember of like old Onimusha.
Yeah, I had never really played those games, so I don't have a good point of reference here. I mean, I saw an extended demo of this at last Summer Game Fest, and it struck me as pretty Souls influenced. But
there's a little bit of that for sure. There's also a little bit of just like modern open world game in there for sure.
The reason why maybe your brain stumbled a bit on the name, Miyamoto.
Yeah, it's Miyamoto.
Musashi. Okay. Musashi Miyamoto, that's right.
Historical / mythical figure.
Yes. So the stuff that I played was just like one chunk. Like you're in a village, you're clearing out the corruption, etc. They kind of said like, hey, you should mainly stick to the story path on this. There's a lot of random events that will happen around the edges. There's stuff on the map you can go do, but for the sake of time, maybe just focus on the story. So mostly what I was doing is running around doing the story mission, and it was pretty good. I mean, the combat I did enjoy, I will say. Whenever I would get into a sword battle with anyone, it felt substantial.
Has that slice in it's one of those like Metal Gear, you
get a
slice
big
the
old finisher
watermelon
in
right?
there. Yeah.
Well, like slice the watermelon, like the cuts happen where you put the sword. Is that right?
It does. I mean, I don't know exactly how dynamic that is, but it does feel like when you do one of those cool attacks, it is slicing along whatever line that the body is like falling apart in.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's got a good flow to it. I didn't feel challenged by it at all until I got to the boss in that level, and then I died a few times, and I had to kind of figure out the patterns and stuff. The main grunt enemies were not hard to beat at all, and I think that might have just been them tuning it for the demo, but...
Or maybe you got to go do some of that side stuff, man.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But either way, the boss fight felt very substantial, and I actually had some fun with it. And the on-camera, like, personality, like, script stuff, like, is all decent enough. Everybody's British. I don't remember if that was always an Onimusha thing, that all the English VO is British, but everyone's extremely British. But they do have Japanese VO, too, if you want it.
I just, this is one of those black holes or blank spots. I just got nothing.
Well, Onimusha has been different things over the years. Like it used to be like pre-rendered backgrounds, right? Back in the day. And now it's like full on third person. Of course, Resident Evil has followed the same trajectory for that matter.
Yes.
Like everything is a third person action game now.
Do you know if this is like a continuous tale of
fuck, I'm not the person to ask about that.
All right.
So that's again, that was the other really big gameplay demo I did that is not under embargo.
Yep, that's September as well.
Yep. A couple of other things around the edges I at least saw demos for. Saw Genesis. Bloober Team.
You saw Genesis.
I did indeed, and I saw, what is it, Billy is the puppet. That was the big marquee dumb thing they had at this environment, was the Billy puppet on a remote control tricycle going around the event.
Same one from the stage at Summer Game Fest, I assume?
Presumably they didn't make two of these, so yes, I would think so.
I will say, this year I learned that it is not Billy is the name of the puppet, and Jigsaw is the name of it is a
that
Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Like, oh, Frankenstein was actually the creator. I always just thought they were all Jigsaw. Who knows?
So they were piloting the thing around the event a bunch, and the guy who was piloting it, he had the controller behind his back the whole time, and I'm just like, dude, you're not subtle. Like, we know what you're doing. No one here cares. It's fine. You can just hold it. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, look, you gotta have a little fun.
I guess.
Yeah.
The Saw demo was not amazing. Part of that was they were having technical problems with the footage they were trying to show us. Like, the frame rate kept chopping up. I don't know if that ever got fixed or not, but I mean, it's an asymmetrical multiplayer game, horror game, at least a couple of years after those have kind of fallen out of favor.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're right. It does feel like a bit of an outlier where everything that's not everything, but a lot of the ones that are not Dead by Daylight have launched and then been shut down subsequently.
Like,
already.
The Halloween game is still coming, so they're not dead.
Yeah.
Like, people are still making them. It's just like, it's a little bit of an odd choice. It's also a little bit of an odd choice to set it like almost 100 years before actual Saw happens.
Huh.
It's post World War I is when it is set.
Interesting.
Now, I am by no means a Saw lore expert. I have seen at most 3 of those movies to completion. So I don't know if there's some larger thing about like there being a history of previous Jigsaw-like figures. But the way they make it sound is that this is like part of some larger lore, but maybe they just made it all up. I don't fucking know. Maybe they couldn't get Tobin Bell for more than a trailer, so they were like, we gotta have a different guy. I don't know. Or maybe this was a different horror game that had no license until at some point someone was like, well, this is kind of like Saw. What if we talk to Saw people? I don't know. I really don't know. They weren't super forthcoming about that.
Is Tobin Bell Jigsaw?
Yes, that's the actor who plays Jigsaw. So they showed it. The interesting thing about it that I will give it is that the monster, would just say the Judge is the name of the character who is the Jigsaw stand-in for this. He's the guy who runs the murder house that you were trying to escape from. He is vulnerable in a way that a lot of the other asymmetrical multiplayer monsters are not, because he's a guy. He's not some fucking unstoppable killing machine. So there are instances in the matches, which they say will take around like 15 to 20 minutes at most.
Interesting.
Usually, where he will have to get on the ground to either set a trap or fix something or do something. And there is the potential, depending on the situation, for people to attack him and potentially take him out before the match is over.
Oh, just kill the dude?
It can happen. He has a lot of escape routes, and there are ways to get away from anyone who is menacing you. So it's a simple thing to do, but it does seem like that is an option in a way that maybe like, Friday the 13th was not.
Now again, I ain't no big city Sawyer, but isn't Saw about having making bad choices? Isn't it? Or like there is no good choice here? Is that
yes.
the torture
so there
porn
are
of it?
Traps. I think that's what they called them in the game, where they're not just like you running through a fun house of death. Like there are traps where you will be trapped in the contraption.
Yeah.
And the contraption is something that you're gonna have to make a choice about. Like, do you want to cut your fucking hand off to get out of this thing? Or do you want to try and escape some other way, or have someone try and escape you some other way, which might not work out?
Okay, do you know if that affects any of the gameplay, or like you just lose health?
I do think it will have some effect on how you are able to approach stuff later in the match.
Okay.
That seemed to be what they were angling at.
Was it gross?
I mean, medium gross in a way it was gross in the way I was totally expecting.
Okay.
It's a lot of people with bare feet running around places that definitely you should not be running barefoot in.
Okay, gross. Like the Nakatomi building.
Totally.
With the glass.
Trying to think what else of note here. I did see the NetEase game Blood message.
Okay. Which
seems to be their attempt at doing a very Western style action-adventure game. I don't know a lot about NetEase's full lineup. Like, there was definitely stuff in there that was like, press triangle to squeeze through this space, press X to do this context-sensitive stuff that felt kind of in that, like, Uncharted-y kind of vein. But the sword combat is very standard, like, action-adventure game. Like, you are cutting up enemies. You are, there's a lot of the demo they showed was you and a AI compatriot fighting together, and that compatriot can die, so you have to go and you have to save him a couple of times. But it is very much like you just going around this open environment, stealth action in certain places, fighting in others. It's about you trying to get this message during, I think, the Tang Dynasty. They said it was around the 800 AD era.
This is the game from early in the Summer Game Fest stream that's set in 9th century China.
Yeah. And everyone's hunting you while you are trying to get this message from place to place. And the level they showed, it kind of looked like Western China. It was a lot of like sand dunes and desert around the town that you're in. So I think that's at least where that part is set. But they were definitely going for like big grand action adventure game with that. And I'll say it played pretty all right. There wasn't a lot to the demo they showed, but it looked very nice. I will say that.
That also has no release date. Blood Message.
Mm-hmm.
What else, Alex?
This one for Brad, I think, because I think you've played these games. N plus Infinity times 2.
Yeah, like a million years ago. I mean, they were very forward about that on the Day of the Dev stream of like, hey, remember this game that we made like 20 years ago?
Yeah. Well, no, they've been making versions of N plus for 20 years is what it actually is.
Totally. They are still putting these out, kind of.
Because they've done 3 of them, of the main ones. And so this is a multiplayer game. This is a straight up all multiplayer N plus game.
Yeah, almost like party game is how it showed on the stream.
It felt in that sort of like duck game or
Spider Heck,
like in that vein for sure.
Yeah, like couch co-op.
Yeah. So it's 4-player. It seems like there are both like, free for all and like tag matches and other types of modes. They only showed 2 modes off, but like it seemed like there were a bunch of different options, and then every mode had a bunch of different maps you could play on. But that was fun. I am not an N plus player at all. Like I have like 0 experience with those games, except a little bit of the first one when it first came out. So I went into this being like, I don't know anything about these games, and I was like in it in like 5 minutes. Like I understood what I needed to do, and it was fun. I had a very good time playing that.
Yeah, I feel like I'd had to look it up. N came out in 2004. Like that game probably had a lot more influence than it gets credit for. I feel like the Super Meat Boy movement, for example, is kind of just the N movement. That real fast momentum based, like sliding up walls kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I should add, I said couch co-op, but it does look like it. The Steam page at least has online co-op, so I didn't want to misrepresent.
Yeah, I played couch, but yeah, it does seem like it will have both.
That's cool. Anything else, Alex?
Yeah, the last 2 things I'll just mention here very quickly because I didn't spend a ton of time with these, and I don't necessarily have like a ton to say about them. But I played Giant Bomb sponsor Aliens Fireteam Elite 2.
Oh boy!
Did they have any signature alien cocktails at their bar?
I didn't see anything, but I also didn't drink at the Giant Bomb show. I was already feeling kind of shitty that day, so I was just like, I'm going to keep it light.
I was just curious because there's so much goop in the Alien movies that I feel like you could come up with a real dumb, nasty cocktail around that.
Ew.
I had just had dinner at a Jack in the Box that had bulletproof glass in front of the cash register, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to tempt fate by putting alcohol on top of this.
That is the true Los Angeles gaming event experience.
Hell yeah. So I did play that. I did think it was reasonably fun. That was a 4-player co-op experience. They had all the stations set up with different people. I remember Fireteam Elite a little bit. I remember it being a little janky, but kind of fun.
Yeah, we did a tour. Yeah.
This seemed less janky and still kind of fun.
Okay. All right.
That was my initial impression of it.
For those who don't know, like 4-player.
Yeah.
4-player.
It was 4-player, and it is just your Space Marines. You are fighting aliens and also synths and some other shit around the edges.
And you have to do the objective on the ship, and you do and then you extract basically when you're done with the mission.
But it seemed pretty fun, and I had a good time playing it. The last one is Super Yooka-Laylee Kart.
Yeah,
a game that I'm much more invested in the kart part than the Super Yooka-Laylee, if I'm being honest.
I'm not sure where they showed this. I don't think they showed this during the Sony one, so I don't know if you were with us.
It might have been the PC Gaming Show or Day of the Devs or something like that.
It was Day of the Devs.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
So
go lay it up.
That's a Mode 7 ass style code racer. Kart racer is what that is. It is super fucking squirrely in a way that I think is intentional, but I was having a hard time, and I am a still current Super Mario Kart player. I still play that game at least a couple of times a year because I still like original Super Mario Kart a lot. And man, was that game squirrely in a way I was not expecting. I don't think it was bad, and it feels like something I could get used to, but I was like shocked because I was sliding around that track like every level was an ice level.
I think there's like maybe an interesting amount of nostalgia-driven hype for this game. Like just watching chat when this was announced while we were streaming, like there's plenty of kart games out there and have been for years.
But they're all 3D games now.
That's exactly it. They're all modern looking, like nice graphics. Everything's fully 3D. Like this having this flat plane mock Mode 7 thing and like the characters all being sprites and stuff, like I could maybe see some people being like really into a retro kart game like this.
And in case people out there don't know what Mode 7 is, you guys kind of said it, but it is that kind of flat raster.
It's
track.
the Super Nintendo fake 3D looking thing they do.
I think I have to go.
Look,
if we have to explain Mode 7 to the kids,
I think I might have to go.
Look, there are some people who might not. Maybe they had a Genesis.
I get it.
Okay?
You're not. Yes, you're right. You're right. I mean, it probably does.
They were too busy worried about blast
just,
processing. Okay,
it's just a feeling my age thing.
But it is this like flat texture that is laid on the ground as a camera your cart kind of stays in the same place as the camera zooms over it.
But yeah, I had a decent enough time with it. I think the squirrely nature of playing it felt a little off to me, but it's something I could probably get used to. I just don't care that much about Yooka-Laylee as a person. It is its own throwback and sort of nostalgia thing, but like I just don't have nostalgia for that thing.
Yeah, I mean, these are, I assume people know these are veterans of Banjo-Kazooie, and they're trying to kind of do that thing again.
Yeah.
But I at least appreciate that it's not just another Yooka-Laylee game. Like they're trying something else, so that's cool.
Yeah, no data on that, but there is a play test that you can try and jump into. And actually, I didn't look up what the Alien release date is. Do you know?
I think it's this year.
Is it? Okay.
I think it is. So
yeah.
So that's everything that I can talk about at this time. Next week, there are like 4 games I can talk about that are currently embargoed. The following week, there's like 1. And then there's one that just says embargo indefinite. So I don't know when the hell I'm going to be able to talk about that.
Funny.
I'll leave it at that.
Never.
That's right. That's right.
I believe what they said in the room was, I think we're doing a thing in July. So we'll see.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Good. Well, how about if we take another break and maybe we come back and we'll wrap up with some other stuff that we saw that you didn't necessarily get a chance to play or stuff we want to talk about that were some of our highlights and maybe some of the post showcase news that has dropped since. So,
sounds good.
Related to the showcases, let's say. All right, so let's take a quick break and we'll be back with more from the season of video games in just a moment. Stick around. All right, we are back. And Alex, before we jump into what may be some of the bigger, more mainstream announcements that made the world pop, I was going over my notes here from some of the other press conferences. There was one press conference where I was going through trailers, and I'm like, where the hell is Alex? Because did you see that there's an El Paso Elsewhere 2?
I did see that sequel got announced, yes.
Did you see that there is a Fights in Tight Spaces 2 that is out now?
I, in fact, had an email chain going with someone from that studio before I got to LA being like, hey, do you want to check this out? And I was like, yes, I do want to check out whatever the next thing is from this group.
So 2 fights in 2 spaces?
Yes. It's basically a 2-player game.
Yeah.
Or a multiplayer game. I think it's not even 2. I think it might actually be more than that, but...
Yes, it is a very good name. 2 fights in 2 tight spaces.
Oh, okay.
And number 2 is there, and I believe it's in early access now.
Yeah.
You can go check it out. And I believe there was one other thing that I saw.
Was it the bigger trailer for that new Rock Band-ish game, Stage Tour or whatever?
Oh, did they put? I missed that.
People were asking if you saw that.
I did.
Okay.
They should have waited to put that out as the first video, is what I'm going to say to that. I still am skeptical of that thing because I'm not going to say it looks amazing, but I know who some of those community people they have pulled in for the board or council of basically play testers for that thing. I know who they are because they are Clone Hero streamers and other people like that.
Sorry, do you know the name of that game again? I'll just write it down.
Stage Tour.
Stage Tour? Okay.
Yeah. That was the one I figured you probably were going to ask me about because I don't think that was on a press conference. I think they just released that like the day before the show.
It might have been. I think it might have been part of IGN FanFest, which is like a whole other event happening in parallel to this.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. It might have been some of this. Look, there was a lot of games out there. I believe there might have been another Strange Scaffold game out there, but
yes, Truck-Kun.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's the Isekai game. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was announced a while ago. I think that's almost out.
That's out this year for sure.
Did you guys see, again, there are a lot of games out here. Some of them have had dates. Some of them were announced before, but some of them I just don't remember because there's 8 billion games. Had you seen Star Trek Outposts Unknown? Was that on
was
your
new
radar?
to me.
Okay.
I think both of those new Star Trek games were newly announced at this.
Okay. Because the other one's like the horror one, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's not necessarily...
I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, it's like a first-person horror game, which is kind of not what I think of when I think of Star Trek, but anyway.
I mean, haunted spaceship is a good Star Trek thrust whenever they choose to use it. It's just that I don't know if a whole game can sustain that.
Yeah.
But we might swing back to some other things. But Brad, let's talk about some of the things that we saw together that maybe Alex didn't see because he wasn't watching it live, or that we didn't get a chance to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, yes, just some random high points and other factoids that have come out from the various streams over the last few days. I think are worth touching on here. I mean, that Stranger Than Heaven thing is like definitely the moment I was the saddest that Alex was not here to have something to say about it.
Literally the first thing that loaded on my phone when I landed in LA was that screenshot of Tupac and people being like, what the fuck?
I was at a loss for words personally, and kind of still am.
That might be where I don't do this often. I respect everybody doing their own thing, but it might be the point where I had to be like, I need to go see the entire Giant Bomb, like diaspora, how anyone is reacting to this, because I want to see what Jeff is doing. I want to see what the other Jeffs are doing. I want to see, I almost want to just like have Austin hold up a phone to his face. Like, I just want to see what everybody's reaction to this is.
So the only part of that wasn't surprising to me was when I remembered that Snoop Dogg was involved. Like, it became very clear how this happened to me, because Snoop Dogg and his son are basically just gigantic mercenaries and are just fucking doing anything they can to make money wherever they can. So him being in this game, I'm sure at some point the conversation came up and he was like, you want Tupac? I can get you Tupac.
Oh my God. Can you?
I can get you Tupac. Yes, because
likeness,
just some,
you mean? Yes.
Yeah, because some fucking lawyer is just the guy who runs the estate now.
Yeah, that was the real bummer to find out in the wake of this, is that it's not even anybody actually related to Tupac who controls the rights anymore.
I mean, it's a lawyer that was hired by his mother before his mother died. He was managing the estate. Now that dude is being sued by Tupac's sister, I think because of how maybe some of that stuff has been handled since Tupac's mom died some years ago. So that is a current legal concern, which apparently the people at RGG do not have any concern about, or at least don't have enough concern about to not do this.
Yeah, there's just so many different things to unpack with this that I don't even know how to go about talking about it.
Here's how I will talk about it. I am not immune to the idea of dead people being in video games. It happens all the time. I play WWE games. I am playing with dead people action figures in those games all the fucking time. The difference is they are not putting the big boss man in a different game as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like we gloss over this, but Toshido Mifune is the likeness used for the main character of Musashi in the new Onimusha.
Yes.
Like classic Japanese actor of presumably a lot of game or movies of that type, like, or of that.
But they are not saying starring Mifune.
And also presumably his family is involved.
Yeah.
But,
and it's like a relative, like it's kind of an understandable appearance. Like, again,
that's
like,
what I was going to get at. Like,
he's a very famous samurai actor. I get it.
That's what I mean, is like he built such a career in that style, in that genre or milieu, that for him to appear in a similar video game makes some amount of sense.
Right. Like,
as opposed to this, which is just like,
why?
How out of left field can it possibly be?
If people miss the news, it's basically this cameo, what seems like a cameo appearance.
Yeah,
I guess we don't know.
We don't know how.
Yeah,
we don't know how substantial that performance is.
We don't know to what extent. I mean, the character could be in the game for 5 minutes for all we know. But
of Tupac in Stranger Than Heaven, a game that takes place in the 30s.
Well, it's across multiple time periods. I don't think we fully know exactly how the storytelling is broken up at this point.
Well, so the speculation, and I don't know if any of this has been confirmed or not, but the speculation for a while there was that this is actually telling the origin story of the Tojo clan from Yakuza, and that like this is them kind of retconning some things to kind of align with A, their Kiwami storylines, and B, just sort of like trying to tie a lot of that universe stuff back to what they're planning to do going forward. I don't know if that stuff has been confirmed or not, or if it's just speculation, but I think there's another actor on that cast list that's also dead It's like a Japanese actor that's been dead for like 10 years, but he's also in this somewhere. They didn't show him in that trailer, but the name I think was up there. I don't know why you have to do this is the thing that I am just not sure how to respond to. Is it like, what is this getting you that you wouldn't get just hiring a different black actor? Like, why do we have to do this?
As Snoop Dogg said, it just made sense.
No, it doesn't. Weed has demolished your brain, Snoop Dogg. This does not make sense.
I think, I think that this is. I'm not quite at ghoulish levels. The initial reveal had me. It could be. Are you going to voice this? Are you going to do?
So if they do the AI voice thing, I'm out on this thing 100%. Right. Like, I don't want any fucking part of a studio that thinks that's a good idea.
Right.
I tried to find a definitive answer on that question, and I feel like I saw people saying that they've confirmed they were not doing anything like that, but I couldn't find like the real direct quote.
That would be a huge leap to go just from the likeness to actually trying to mimic his voice in some way, and that would definitely cross the line for me. I'm already like not so sure about this. Like,
on the likeness alone, right?
Well, on likeness alone, but also the amount of stunt casting they're doing this just feels fucking weird and unconfident in the actual game, you know?
Yeah, it almost, if anything, almost feels like a distraction.
Yeah. Like, why do you want this?
But yeah, again, not to make too big a deal out of it. It just felt like completely unnecessary, like you said. Like it doesn't make sense. Like you would almost really a leap here, but like you can almost see like somebody from like the Wu-Tang Clan or somebody who's just like, oh yeah, I just kind of like this.
Totally
meld more in like samurai and like Chinese martial arts and Japanese martial arts shit. Like I'm just kind of in that. I don't know much about Tupac. I was more of an
really
East Coast
his
guy.
Aesthetic. That's not really the aesthetic he went with.
Yeah. I just I don't know, man.
Oh, look, again, Snoop Dogg being in the game, I don't really give a shit. Like, fine, he appears in stuff. He just likes making money. Who cares? You know,
not too hard to get Snoop Dogg.
He can make his own decisions, so I don't care.
Yes, crucially, he's deciding himself to put himself in the game.
We assume. We hope.
But man, like it's just it's such a distraction, like you said, and I think this is doing them no favors.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird.
Brad, do you want to run down some of the other big props?
Yeah, just random stuff in here. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Revelation got announced, which we talked about some on the stream when it got announced, but
new Sephiroth.
Key takeaway, they did not call it Reunion, which the absolute entire internet was convinced they would.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
But
maybe they changed it because the entire internet had already figured it out.
Well, I mean, maybe I don't want to read too much in the word revelation, but like maybe they're going to do some weird shit with the end of it. Like maybe there will be revelations about the new direction they have taken the end of that story. I don't know.
They did seem to. We don't have to rehash a lot of this stuff, but that was a big one, and it seemed to just very quickly here, as we've talked about. It's like, man, that second one, Rebirth. That was a pretty long game that had a lot of repetition in some of the things you were doing. Maybe they'll scale it back. That wasn't the vibe I was getting from this.
In fact, there are subsequent comments from Hamaguchi that it's going to be bigger than Rebirth. But like reading between the lines, though, I think like that makes sense because, like, for example, he says every area from Rebirth is also going to be in this game, along with the new ones.
Yeah.
And I really, actually, like, it almost kind of gets to, Vinny, your long-running desire to, like, carry your save over.
I know.
Like, it kind of feels like it is keeping in mind that this was all one game at one time. Because I very easily could have just said, like, oh, well, you don't need to go back to those areas because the story has moved on, so we're not putting those in 3.
Yeah.
But at that point in the original 7, you did still have access to all those areas. So I think it's actually cool that they are keeping all that stuff. Like,
I think it's how they implement it.
It was never the size of the map in Rebirth that was the problem. It was just the kind of feeling of busy work and
repetitive things you had to do.
Repetitive, nature of the side quests and stuff like that. So,
if you were engaging with it, like you just skip it if you want.
Yeah. So it actually, and also it sounds like they have made some changes to like removing load times between areas because you've got the airship and. Sounds like you can just kind of freely explore the whole world now.
Well,
jump out of that airship.
To them, I simply say, go with Gaia on this one. Whatever you think you got to do. Like, nice. I'm just sure. Why not?
It's only 3 years. It's only 3 years since the last one by the time this comes out. Like, that's rad that they are just getting it done.
Yeah. And it'll be on this platform. It'll be on an existing platform. Brad, you have Microsoft did a big Gears E-Day stuff. They showed a decent amount of things there. They showed. Did you look at
that direct? Oh, are you talking about on their mainstream? Yeah. Their stream. I'd say like everybody's presentation was kind of a
little
hovering in a B- to B+ territory this year. Like it's just kind of an off year for a variety of reasons.
I think if you, I was able to catch some of it live, but then I went back and I filled in some of the gaps. But I think if you were looking for a certain thing, man, this was your best showcase ever, right? Look, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, then that Nintendo Direct, was great for you.
I don't know. I saw a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans being like, "Where's the Disney?" And I'm not just talking about Mike McNaughty. I mean, I saw other people saying that as well.
Yeah,
Mike McNaughty probably says that anyway. But
if you mean in 4, they really just didn't show much.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a lot of action. But you're getting all like it was taken from an early build.
But like, look, you're getting release day on the Switch 2. That's a big deal. Like, it's a numbered Kingdom Hearts game that is coming out on a Switch 2. Big, I guess, get for Nintendo. Plus, they're putting all those collections of collections together. So, like, certain pockets, I think we said it numerous times. I think the games I'm after, like Day of the Dev was really the thing that was the most enticing for me.
For the most part, yeah.
Just kind of out there. But I just want to go back. One of the bigger things that was really the more meta narrative during the Microsoft one seemed to be how they're positioning some of their games in terms of exclusive to what was the phrasing they used? Xbox console exclusive
was the word they kept using,
because they're going to keep putting games out on PC, so it really just means not coming to PS5 anymore.
And so that got applied to Gears of War and Clockwork Revolution.
That was like kind of heavily rumored. I mean, they've been talking themselves about reevaluating this exclusive policy.
Yeah.
In the weeks running up to this, and then I think it was Jeff Grubb that revealed, I think on Friday, a couple days before that stream, that Gears was not going to be on PS5, which it turns out it is not, and also Clockwork Revolution. But it seems like everything they had already announced for PS5, they're going to commit to still shipping. So Fable, there were a couple others. I think State of Decay might already be announced for PS5, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, like everything they have already said would come to PlayStation is still coming to PlayStation, but probably nothing beyond that.
I got to know what you thought when you saw State of Decay 3 there, man.
It was fine. They didn't show that much. I mean, what I like about that game doesn't show in a conference.
But it was like they actually showed some like what seemed like gameplay, and it seemed like it was at least proof of life, you know?
Yeah, and like everything they showed was from one of what looked like the kind of infected zone, big red cloud, nasty areas that you would go into. But like it's the weird systemic jank that I like in those games so much, and like you kind of can't simulate that for a presentation. But I'm confident that game is probably what I am looking for. Anyway, the exclusive stuff is weird.
It's a little weird, and then there was
the timing feels weirdly reactionary. Like it just feels like part of this sweeping change, along with the new leadership coming in.
I mean, this is less of a criticism because they have to do something, and I get that. But like, I did immediately clock the intense, look at these things you used to like about Xbox. Halo. You like Halo, right?
Yeah.
Check out Halo. Hey, do you remember 2001 when all technology was clear plastic and Crystal Method was constantly playing behind it? Here's a new console for you. That's the same console, but it's green and it's got the clear plastic. You remember that, right?
This portends dark times ahead for clear plastic haters such as myself.
I am not a clear plastic hater, but I am a millennial nostalgia hater, and let me tell you, they went hard on that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like we're so close to a console transition that I almost wonder if they should have just committed to shipping these last. I mean, how many more major first-party console games are they going to ship?
Not a lot.
Before a new Xbox is out, I almost feel like maybe making a clean break on console lines would have made more sense. But I don't know.
When will they do our...
It's just such weird whiplash to expectations. Like it's not been it's barely been long enough since they started shipping games on the PS5 for us to get used to them shipping games on the PS5, and now they're immediately discontinuing that policy. It just feels like kind of like a bit confused.
I think when we look back on this era, just very briefly, I think we will look at the years between 2021 and 2025 as the years nothing worked. Everything people tried either only lasted for a little bit or didn't work at all. Because it feels like all the big initiatives that started in 2021 have been wholesale abandoned by now. Live service games, all that shit.
Let's hope we were able to look back on this era and say nothing made sense then, as opposed to, wow, things make even less sense now.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
It's just math, man. If you pivot too much, you've gone in a circle, right? Like you can only do it so many times. I think, Brad, there genuinely just is some last minute decision making and confusion, as evidenced by some of the Gears of War branding.
Microsoft posted a video, I think it was some kind of podcast video that had a PS5 logo on the Gears stuff that they rapidly pulled down.
And then I think
and Grubb, I think Grubb also basically said there's biggest surprise in the world. There's a functional PS5 build of Gears at the Coalition, because that was how recently they decided to not do this.
And then I think I have to go double check. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff coming out there. I thought I saw something float by that had Asha Sharma basically being like, the messaging was kind of confusing, putting PS5 logos on slates, coming to Xbox and then having little logos underneath for PS5. Maybe that wasn't the best move.
You're talking about the thing from a week or two ago where she was saying, like that. I think that included some we were going to do better type language, which what do you mean? You don't need to apologize for this.
But that's been her whole thing so far, is that she's constantly replying to people on X, the everything platform, and is engaging in a way that almost feels a little bit desperate.
It is a little bit concerning that does seem to be some of the.
So I think there is some we're not really sure what we're locking into yet, right? Like we are. Yeah. But games wise, look, I think another a little bit that hit here that is probably newer newsworthy is they showed Senua, which is the name of the next Hellblade game. Now I'm not a huge fan of Hellblade 2. I like the first one. I thought the second one didn't really do it for me. They kind of lost, I thought, a little of the magic or the thread that they had or the intimacy from the first game. This is Ninja Theory's game, and it sounds like they are putting all hands on Senua for this one.
Yeah, well, they had a horror game they had been prototyping and had talked about. Was it Project Mara, I think?
I think so.
They've talked about that in the past that they were working on, and it sounds like that has been shelved in favor of the whole studio doing this third Senua game. It's weird.
I hate that. I hate that.
I liked the first Hellblade. Also, they've just completely dropped the Hellblade name at this point. But
it wasn't a good name anyway.
I liked that first game quite a bit. The second game did not hold my attention.
None of those games have fully worked for me.
Third one is more combat heavy from the looks of things. It seems like a weird choice for them to just do another one of those right away.
I just wish they could work on something original. I'm not the biggest Ninja Theory fan in the world, but I would rather see what a new thing from them looks like than another Senua game.
Yeah, especially since it seems like they're maybe moving more away from that kind of intimate journey with this character and exploring things that at the time felt like studios weren't taking chances on doing, right?
Yeah.
And now
it's a game that didn't need a sequel is the real answer to all of this. Is that it kind of told its own standalone story. It was a novel thing in its own right, but the idea of continuing that over and over again just sucks.
I mean, I started to say Microsoft first party is just extremely sequel and IP heavy at this point, but also so is everybody.
Yeah, that's not unique to them.
I can hardly lay that solely at their feet when basically every major announcement out of this whole thing practically was either some sequel to a 30-year-old franchise or a remake thereof.
Dude, the top line Nintendo thing. Hey, that Ocarina remake we've been hearing about over and over again. Guess what? We're actually doing it.
Right, if a third Final Fantasy VII, a new Rayman, a remake of a Rayman game from barely a decade and change ago. It's just on and on. Everything is just sequel hell or remake hell.
I mean, it's not
a lot
all
of these games
hell.
look great. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
we were just talking about the Resident Evil stuff. Like, those are great examples of that working.
Like, we'll get to it in a minute, but like, I think I'm probably more positive on the Zelda stuff than a lot of people seem to be.
I don't understand the anger. Like, I don't think it looks amazing from the little bit they showed, but like,
I mean, they really didn't show.
But I wasn't immediately put off by it.
Like, that is my dude. Like, one close-up static shot of that thing is in no way enough to assess what the art style of this thing is going to be, and people losing their minds over it are getting so far out over their skis.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying it can't look bad. I'm just saying what they showed wasn't that off-putting.
Like there is no way we have seen enough of that game to say for sure whether it's worth getting this mad about.
Yeah.
Did you see Kid Ellis, former Nintendo employee, getting out there being like, yeah, man, that leak just really undercut that entire reveal. Like, if those leaks hadn't been out there, maybe it would have been more people have been like, oh shit, they're remaking this. But since the leaks were out there, when you showed just a shot of a sleeping Link, kind of takes all the wind out of it. Now you're just focused on like what they showed and not the announcement.
I think if they'd had a better teaser, yes, you're right. That maybe the leaks wouldn't have mattered as much. But
yeah, maybe everything leaks though now. Like nothing doesn't leak. Like unless like the only way you don't leak. I don't say this to be mean, but like the only way you don't leak at this point is by being too small for people to go looking for leaks of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like anything of this scale, nobody can keep a secret anymore. It's just not possible. So like I don't know if people just need to like start taking that into account with their announcements maybe a bit more, but I like that. I mean, since we're just talking about it, like the kind of tapestry stuff on the wall, whatever, like that just seemed kind of cutscene-ish, but like that shot of Link looks like what I would expect a modernized version of Ocarina of Time to look like. Like
it is an N64 style Link.
Like that's like the character looks more or less like the character from but especially like yes, the characters in Ocarina are pretty exaggerated and cartoonish, but like the general environment design and lighting of Ocarina of Time are pretty realistic. So like
for the time, yes.
Like yeah, I mean yes, I mean that's kind of what passed for realistic at the time because like the capability was not even there to stylize in the way that we know now.
It was fairy tale realism. Like that was what they were going for.
Yes, that is exactly it. And like so I don't see how this is really incongruous with what original Ocarina of Time looked like in the way that a lot of people seem to be losing their minds about.
That's not what it is, though, is that we've had too many, adult Links, like too many versions of Link since then that look modernized, that look like, within the framework of what modern Nintendo video games look like, that everyone is instantly mentally comparing it to those. And what I'm saying is I expect Ocarina Link, and that's not that far off from how I would have imagined that in high res,
Yeah, yes.
Maybe Nintendo has reached the point, maybe we're still in the nothing works, where they're so long in the tooth on so many franchises where they have so many iterations of Star Fox, nobody will be happy.
Right.
So many iterations of the movie Mario versus, what did you say at one point? The mustaches are different or whatever?
Literally, it's like a 10% character difference, so they can sell different merch. That's
movie Mario is visually distinct from regular Mario.
Yeah, so like maybe their franchise, their roster is just so spread out all over the place that you will never make anyone happy ever again with any kind of...
you can just end your sentence there. You will never make anyone happy ever again.
I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is a battle that Link has been fighting since the dawn, since he's been in a sprite form, right? Look, Link's here. Now Link's got, look, I'm colorblind, so excuse me, but he had pink hair, right? In Link to the Past.
Oh, wait, in Link to the Past.
Yeah, that's the eternal debate.
This is what I'm saying.
Kind of depended on the characteristics of your TV, though.
So, Link has changed. Link is amorphous. Right? Link has been fighting the what is a Link all the time. Toon Link, grown up Link. God, you just played Wolf Link, and you just played that game, and those characters look bizarre as hell.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's not hard to walk this back and remember that Wind Waker was a departure because it was cartoony and stylized.
You mean Zelda?
Like Wind Waker couldn't have been seen as this crazy departure in art style if the previous N64 games weren't fairly grounded in a realistic style.
Yeah. Here's what I would say. Last thing on this.
Yeah.
Ocarina of Time is still my favorite Zelda game of all time. Like, by a good margin. nothing I saw in there put me off or made me mad or made me be like, I don't want this. How dare you? Like, I'm excited to see what their vision of a modernized Ocarina of Time will be. Will it live up to my memory of that game? Of fucking course not, because I've been building up that memory since I was 16 goddamn years old. But I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing could ever live up to that because that game was so formative.
Yep.
You know, like that was like still right in the window of people just figuring out how to do video games in 3D. So like it's
Z-targeting.
I think it just defined the idea of the 3D action adventure for many years after the fact.
So yeah, but I don't know. I'm like cautiously bullish on how that thing's gonna turn out. I mean, the real question is like, how faithful of a remake is it? How direct one-to-one is it with the original? How much are they going to kind of try to blow it out into something bigger? Who's making it? Which we certainly don't know. Like,
I think they landed on maybe who was making it.
Like, I don't think there's been any information. Are you thinking of Star Fox?
Oh, I might be thinking of Star Fox.
Yes, we did. So Star Fox, it was revealed, and this is like way out of character for Nintendo these days because you usually have to like wait for the game to come out and then look at the credits in the game. But Velen is doing the Star Fox remake,
right?
Which is, I had not heard of them before, but they were founded by the founders of Vicarious Visions, and have done some other work with Nintendo. But so it's an American team doing this Star Fox remake actually, and they're doing it on their own in-house engine, it turns out. So I don't know if that says anything about how they are handling the Ocarina remake. I don't know if that's an internal team doing that, or like Grezzo has done a bunch of Nintendo Zelda stuff in the past. Like they did the Link's Awakening remake and Echoes of Time, the kind of quasi-sequel starring Zelda.
Yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah,
they did the previous Ocarina of Time remake on the 3DS. So like it could be them, or it could be Nintendo doing this game and like making it bigger. I don't know. Like,
yeah. They did Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, did I say Echoes of Time?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much you modernize Ocarina or just do a straight remake of that game. But hard to say.
I bet you stay pretty faithful. So I think moving away from some of the stuff that has been shown before, or the sequel stuff, like you guys mentioned, a lot of nostalgia plays. I think there were some things that genuinely looked new and fresh. There was that one, was it Vivarium that had that that kind of 60s, 70s, 80s.
It basically looked like kind of a Studio Ghibli game.
Yeah, like Lupin-ish, like kind of a mix of things. But yeah, that looked kind of cool and new.
It looked nice in motion. Like it's that style looks cool as a playable style.
It is so funny, though, that the whole strapline for that game is, did you want to live in an 80s anime? Here you go. And I'm not saying you shouldn't want that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anyone shouldn't want that, but that is 100% the pitch for that game.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not wrong. But yeah, that looked cool. I think there was that, I forget what it's, I got to pull it up, that Magician game.
It's called Magician, or Magicians.
Okay.
That was, I kind of lamented the number of remakes and sequels and stuff, but that is definitely one of the coolest looking original games I have seen at this thing. What's the full Magicians the Devil's Deal is the full name of that game, which is like kind of Victorian magic BioShock is how people were looking at, or maybe a bit more Dishonored. I don't know.
It definitely feels in that wheelhouse for
kind
sure.
Kind of in that vein of like dual, like weapon and magic in each hand kind of thing. That game looked cool as hell.
There was a bunch of other stuff throughout all the other press conferences, so I'm not going to go out through all of those.
If we're just plucking games out, Blood Dungeon, the new Messhoff game, looks rad.
Which one is that?
Messhoff is the Nidhogg developer.
Oh yes,
and their new game, they literally name dropped Spelunky in talking about it, but it's basically a Spelunky auto shooter is how they talk about it. Mm-hmm. Like it's a 2D dungeon crawler Spelunky type game.
Yeah, that was Day of the Devs, right?
With the Vampire Survivors like auto shooting stuff mechanic, which it's cool to see that idea or that mechanic getting blended into other genres.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was basically like, hey, can you navigate while things are just coming at you?
It was kind of like, hey, can you platform with like 8,000 enemies on your ass constantly? Like that seems really cool. Did you see the Carcass Clad trailer during your Streamapalooza?
Oh, there's so many names of games. Can you describe it?
That's the Wrong Organ. That's the new Wrong Organ game, the tank horror game.
Oh yeah,
wrong organ is the mouthwashing developer.
Yes, that thing looked really interesting. I guess is the only way to say that.
They're making a 3-player co-op tank horror game, is how they describe it.
Yes,
and I don't think it has single player. I think it is. I think it is required to play in co-op.
The trailer for that looks just kind of incredible.
Like the style is very mouthwashing. Like it looks kind of old pixely, early 3D, and the characters have the similar art style, but everybody's playing a role in a tank.
Yes,
trying to escape a city
for some horrible reason. It looks like
seems very interesting.
Yep, that looked very cool. Gosh, there were so many games. Like I said, some of these have a release date. Some of these are out in early access. Some of these were from all of this stuff with have demos that are coming out now. They showed a lot of Exodus. I don't know if you saw that. They showed that's the not Mass Effect. Where
was that shown?
Matthew McConaughey. I get PC Gaming Show and Future Games Show mixed up a lot.
Okay. One of those, sure.
It was on one of those, but they did a big block of that. It might have been PC Gaming Show. And look, I love Mass Effect. I want that game to be really good, and I think it showed well.
Okay.
So I hope, I don't know. I have hopes for it. Don't let me down.
Okay.
is what I'll say. There were a number of games in the trailer palooza. A lot of horror fishing games. I'll just say there's like oh gosh,
was this an underserved market we didn't know about?
Dread something. That first person fishing game from Day of the Dead looked really cool.
The one that basically looked like 3D Dredge?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is it though? Does Dredge have any first-person stuff? Because that seems like a pretty
no.
But
the presentation is different. But
yeah. There are more fishing things. There were multiple fishing things. Did you see that Valheim is going 1.0?
Yeah, Did they announce that here? I actually just saw that randomly.
They showed a 1.0 trailer with new content.
Hang on, I've got to do my due diligence and find the name of that fishing game. Dreadmore? I think it's Dreadmore.
Dreadmore sounds right.
I think is it.
Again, multiple horror fishing games. Multiple fake terminal, like old Windows 95 games out there. I saw a bunch of trailers for stuff like that. There was one like that was Hack 95, I think was one. They are doing new stuff out there. It is not
there's always.
Yeah.
But like the bigger point is that big budget, big publisher development has just gotten incredibly safe or more risk averse than ever.
Yeah.
Like there are just even fewer chances being taken these days, if that's possible.
There was a game called, I think it was Shark Dentist, where
that's been floating around for a while.
Jeez, man, that one. There's a lot. This is funny because it's trends, right? A lot of get some 4, 5, 6 buddies in prox chat and go do a thing games.
Yes.
Some would call them the friend sloppiest of games, but there were many of those.
Which, when you think about the timeline and how long it takes to spin something like that up, and when those games were at their peak popularity, it all kind of tracks. I look, Persona 6 had a screen.
Yeah, I mean, I put some other stuff on a list here that we should probably just touch on briefly. Do you have any feelings about Persona 6?
I didn't show anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's really not much to go on.
Splash screen,
like
basically.
if you ask me if they're making another Persona, I would say, yeah, definitely they'll make another Persona.
Right. Of course, I don't know that you had especially strong feelings about Persona 5, so maybe that ship
I
has
personally
sailed
did, but Alex did, yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Alex
was
Persona
a joker.
Persona 5 is kind of a mess. It was a mess I enjoyed, but it definitely felt bloated in a way that Persona 4 to me did not. And granted, those are the only two I've really ever completed, so I can't speak to the other ones. But they seem to, at least with that Splash trailer, seem to be emphasizing the spooky aspect a little bit more. So I don't know, maybe this fucking Halloween Town Persona. I don't know.
Yeah. At first I thought it was going to be a Devil Summoner game, but it is a Persona.
No, they don't make those anymore.
It seems like Persona 4 Revival is getting close.
Yeah.
Also,
yes, that's
they
not that far off.
Showed some more of that. I don't know that will
know,
go
man.
over.
I've already beaten that game. I don't know if I can do it again.
They have done that game quite a bit.
Yeah.
Fair. Guild Wars 3.
That's wild, man.
They're talking a big game.
I nearly choked on my weed vape when that fucking trailer splash came up. I was like, really? New Guild Wars? Are you kidding me?
It's been an age. It's been almost 15 years since 2, I think, probably.
I ain't mad at it. I'm just like surprised.
I think it looks quite nice. I am. They're talking a big game about it. Like they're definitely
redefining the MMO.
Definitely
That's
talking about
always
kind of
said
the,
about
like
Guild Wars.
the next evolution. I mean, but like Guild Wars 1 was pretty fucking seminal. Like
Yeah, it was.
That game
It was a
pretty
big deal.
The game was a pretty big deal when it came out, and but all their kind of next evolution of the MMO is a kind of setting pretty high bar. But I could be convinced to play a new MMO. Maybe.
Okay.
I'm really curious what they're doing. Which is a ways off. Like they're not even doing the beta is not until next year, so it's going to be quite a while before that game comes out. But
I don't know if I'm with you. I think I could get into one. I don't think I could survive another wave of MMOs.
Well, that's not happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, definitely not.
We're never getting back to that. But,
that was too exhausting.
But in fact, it's kind of been long enough that it feels like it is time for somebody to take another stab at doing something new with it.
Totally.
Um.
I'm trying to think if there's anything. Like, I watched a bunch of these presentations, but I was so fucking, like, just brain fried by the time I would get back to the hotel room that I feel like I remember half of what I watched.
Yeah, I don't know how you, like, went to that show all day and also tried to absorb all the streams. That feels almost impossible. But
I did my best.
I looked up a little bit more about Final Fantasy Resonance because I was just kind of curious about what's up with that, which is they kind of made a big deal out of it at the Nintendo thing. It's the first HD 2D game from Square Enix that has the Final Fantasy name on it. Apparently that game is based on Brave Exvius, the Final Fantasy mobile game from some time ago.
Oh, that's kind of wild.
Which I don't think is running anymore. I'm pretty sure that thing is done.
I don't think it's been running for some time.
Yeah, Wikipedia refers to it in the past tense, which is always the best barometer.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Resonance is based on like the first season or the first release of Brave Exvius or something like that, but it's still kind of a new game from the sound of it. But Octopath Traveler 0, which came out last year, was also based on a mobile game, and that game was like incredibly well received. So I don't think this being based on a mobile game is necessarily like a sign of bad.
No. If anything, it feels like maybe they're trying to take a thing that is basically not accessible anymore and find a way to get it to new audiences.
And it may be like entirely new visuals and everything. Like it might
it's
actually
not just a port. I know that.
I think it's just maybe the kind of story and general setting of the mobile game is what they're using as a base for this. Also, this is the one where the summons appear to be characters from other Final Fantasy games.
Yes.
Like you summon Cloud to fight in your battle type stuff, which I don't know that I'm not like immediately like leaping out of my seat for this, but I'm kind of curious to see what they do with it. Maybe.
How about that Tenebris Somnia game, the FMV?
Yeah, they have like people should just go watch the Day of the Dev stream if they haven't, because like every single game in that thing, even if it was not something I necessarily thought would be directly to my taste, had some interesting idea. To it.
This one has like fully realized FMV. It's a horror game that has FMV scenes that integrate into kind of a very retro style adventure game mechanics.
It's a survival horror that looks somewhere between 16-bit and 32-bit in terms of like pixel art. It's like 2D pixel art survival horror that every time there's a cutscene just cuts to modern high-res full motion video.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting, like there's nothing conceptually weird about a game where like a lo-fi game that cuts to cutscenes. Like that's been happening almost as long as video games exist. But for the game itself to look that old and then the cutscenes to be that crisp and modern and like it's such a weird blend of aesthetics in a really cool way.
I dug it.
Yeah.
That seemed cool.
Yes. They announced DLC for Doom the Dark Ages, which I only note here because they have Doom Guy taking his helmet off fully.
I know.
So did that not happen in the Dark Ages?
I didn't finish that game, so I can't say for sure. Maybe that's not a new thing, but my snap reaction when I saw that was that Doom Guy should never ever take off his helmet.
They should definitely. If they ever
I felt
do
something close to revulsion when I saw that, and I maybe that's a little extreme, but I was definitely like, I don't want to see this.
Like the only place his bare head is appropriate is in the little character portrait at the bottom of the screen.
Agreed. Yes.
I don't. Whatever. I'm kind of being facetious. I don't know.
I'm not.
Maybe
I think
they're doing something interesting with that DLC, but
do a thing where they just show like the back of his head the whole time. Do a Master Chief, right? You just never see the guy's face. The new Cuphead, or shown from the Cuphead folks.
I only put that here. Like new Cuphead, fine. I kind of would have rather seen that studio do something new. Although maybe it'll be a new type of game with the Cuphead characters. I hope it's not just another 2D platformer in the same style necessarily. But they also announced that Mighty Cuphead Adventures, which is coming much sooner. Or
that is the kind of like 8-bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the detail they omitted from that presentation, and okay, fine. I guess you don't say this on a stream because most of the people watching it don't even know what. Well, maybe this is a bit of a leap. A lot of the people are too young to care what a Sega Master System is. That is a Sega Master System game.
Yes.
I was going to ask that during the stream if it's like playable.
Like I believe they're going to sell a cart, but it is playable on Sega Master System hardware. It is developed for that platform. It is not. That is not just a spiritual retro game. It is a literal retro game that they are making for an old console. And I think that's cool as hell, which means I could just dump the cart and play it on my Mister. On the CRC sitting behind me.
Clearly. Mm-hmm.
Which there's always something a little heartwarming about that. Big Walk got a date finally. Big Walk. I have been very interested in Big Walk pretty much since they've been showing it, and I'm very excited that that's finally coming out.
Yeah.
Which is the Untitled Goose Game developer. If people don't remember Big Walk, but
very cozy.
I don't think you. Maybe I don't know. Sure. Maybe. It's like an open world improvisational puzzle solving game is the best I feel like I can say about it, because every time they've shown it, it feels like it kind of defies description a little bit. It's like the multiplayer. It's a game about going on a big walk.
That is it.
Like it's a multiplayer voice chat game where you're like finding unique ways to communicate with each other at distance. It seems like, because you maybe can't. I assume it's all prox chat, because it seems like you're having to signal each other from great distances to communicate information back and forth and stuff. Like it seems like something that I am going to be very into.
Or grief people is what they show also.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can I call out a couple of things here that weren't there, or like companies that weren't there?
You can try, but there were a lot of things that were shown around. I dare you to find the game that didn't show.
Electronic Arts.
Who are they? What do they make?
EA games. Maybe you've heard of them.
Yeah.
What is
Did they have anything at all?
They had sponsorship of the end of show mixer and nothing else. Like the EA logo was on the, hey, come to the end of the thing mixer. They had no games there anywhere.
Oh, the football people.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Battlefield people.
I
heard of them.
Nothing from them.
Yeah.
Nothing from Ubisoft either, really. I mean, I know there was a little bit of the Black Flag stuff, but
they announced the Rayman Legends remake.
And the Rayman thing, but not much else beyond that. And I'm wondering if part of that might, like, no presence there. Like, they weren't there. They didn't do a big show around it.
Are you talking about at Playdays?
I'm talking about at Playdays, but also just more involved in the show.
Yeah, some of the bigger publishers have not been super present at that thing in the past.
I mean, there were a decent number that were there this year, but like, or at least were showing things on stages. But while we've been recording this, I guess Ubisoft just announced another 380 people were being laid off, and they are closing 2 studios.
Okay,
Ubisoft did.
Ubisoft did specifically. Their
which studios?
Winnipeg and Belgrade, which were both, I think, support studios.
Ooh, Ubisoft.
Yep. EA makes a certain amount of sense because we don't know what the fuck's going on with that company right now and their potential sale. Ubisoft, I mean, I'm not saying they didn't make a bigger show because of these oncoming layoffs, but I will say that the word going around right now is that they tried to embargo the layoff news with news outlets.
Oh, yeah? Like it had gotten out there?
I am seeing people say that right now, so I have not been able to confirm that personally, but like reporters are saying Ubisoft tried to embargo this news.
Oh, like it is not for today. It has gotten out there.
The news is
against
out.
what they wanted.
Yeah, the news is. I don't know if they've announced
Yeah.
it by today or not, but like, if that was all the plan or what. But that news is out there as of today.
Yeah, look, Ubisoft has also been in a very, very weird spot. Maybe not as weird as where EA winds up,
Yeah.
But man, yes.
Weird times.
I thought I saw more Ubisoft stuff somewhere, but it wasn't at Nintendo. I thought I had seen them bringing some things over, but yeah, like you said, it was like maybe it was
two
just
remakes.
Black Flag.
Like that's what they had was two remakes.
Yeah, and what I guess we should mention during the Microsoft stuff, this they ended with Call of Duty DMZ coming back, right? And that was that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's
DMZ is the last Call of Duty thing that held my interest.
I may have fallen asleep when that demo was happening. I'm going to be honest with you.
It is the one thing they could have said about Call of Duty that would have been interesting to me, because I thought they were just done with DMZ. Also, this one seems to be set in North Korea.
Yeah, just I think you said it, just DMZ-ing, huh? Just
Good luck with that.
I mean, granted, a lot of other extraction stuff has happened since DMZ first came out, so I don't know if I'll be as excited about trying this one, but I'll try it.
Yeah, I just have lost a lot of interest in Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah, I mean, fair. And again, I mean, we're really not hurting for other options in extraction shooting.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't know, maybe I'm better off playing more Marathon if I want more of that style of thing. I don't know.
I'm trying to think back. Brad, what was the closer for Summer Game Pass? It's like already left my mind.
It was Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Okay. Well, yep. Already left my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, tons of stuff out there. There's also the Next Fest demo. Palooza is going to be happening soon. So some of these games that were announced will have some demos out there.
No shortage of video games, that's for sure.
No shortage of things for 2026 and beyond. We got a lot of 2027 dates. Not as many 2028s as maybe in the past.
I did think it was really funny that they kind of led with that. Look how many games came out thing in the presentation.
For SGF, yeah.
Like all these, look at the numbers. There's just so many video games, and it's just like, yeah, dude.
Well, particularly because those were Steam stats.
Yeah.
Like, have you taken a look at Steam lately? Yes, by the numbers, there are a lot of games on Steam. Have you seen what comprises some of those numbers?
Not all games are created equal.
That preamble, I think I said something during the stream too. That preamble had real, like, you're all fired energy. Like, hey, we're doing great. The numbers are really up. I just want to say you're doing a great job out there. We really appreciate your work.
Please clean out your desks in the next 15 minutes.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I really was just waiting for him to be like, what are you going to announce that's so horrible that you are like talking it up so much here?
The energy of the first 5-ish minutes of that thing was very strange.
Confusing.
Yeah. I mean, we have said it too. Look, there are so many games coming out, but that doesn't mean that the industry is not hurting in a lot of places, because traditionally these games from big art publishers cost more than ever, are up against more competition, and I think like you mentioned a little while ago, Alex, like nobody's really quite figured it out. Like they're all trying to figure out how you make this thing work in the big scope. And then for the smaller people, having a million games out there isn't always a great thing. Like, discoverability is really hard. Breaking through the noise can be extremely hard. Now, I think there's a really weird existential cycle here of talking about, would your game exist if there weren't a lot of games out there? But like,
right.
But I think the hardest part is, how the hell do you pop up? That's why I think you get so many people being like, during this a cycle of press conferences, being like, just go please wish list this. I'm going to be transparent with you. We need the algorithm to pick this up.
Yeah.
Like, literally their pitch directly to the audience is like, I don't care if you buy this game or not. I need the algorithm. So just wish list this, please.
Please help us. Oh God.
Yeah. Because there's really, I think, no other way to get discovered out there when you have 1,500 games releasing a day.
Yeah.
So with that said, never been a better time.
No, you can't. I think you actually have to stop saying that now.
There's never been a better time.
Never been a more voluminous time to play video games.
All the games are there, though. At some point, it will be wrong, because if they keep taking games down, then there would have been a better time to be like, you actually can't play that game anymore. The game doesn't exist.
Well, I mean, and again, depending on the next generation goes, maybe the good times were behind. There's a quote from Asha Sharma going around about her basically saying, like, we have to rethink how we do memory in consoles and storage in consoles because of things. And I'm like, there was a joke post, I forget who wrote it. It wasn't me, but it was just like, this will be the first generation to have less RAM than their parents. You know, like this will be the first time we are actually scaling back on RAM.
Yeah, that's a
These
weird.
consoles won't be able to buy a house.
Yep.
I saw that quote and thought about pulling it in here. I don't really know what angle to approach it from. I mean, that's a weird one because like whatever decisions they make at the start of the generation, they are stuck with for that entire generation.
Well,
so like,
or at least unless they do a refresh like they did a generation ago.
Well, but games will always have to run on the baseline that you ship at the start.
Right.
So like that won't actually really matter. Like,
Brad, what if they made the nightmarish bad choice to ship an memory expansion pack for your console and certain games will only run on the.
What if they build a new Stadia?
We've learned that. Some companies went through this 30 years ago. You can't fragment your user base. It does not go well.
What if nobody's learned a damn thing about?
Remember the lessons. Remember the lessons of the 32X, please.
Look, Microsoft put out 2 SKUs and it worked fine for them. Okay,
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I got the tenor of that quote to me seemed more about business model than hardware specs. I don't know. Maybe it was both.
Like, hey, we need to figure out how to source and
more about more about how we sell it. Basically, like,
oh yes, right. It's like partnerships and strategic sponsorships and stuff like to make this affordable.
Maybe they start renting hardware to people along with their Game Pass subscription. I mean, that's not unheard of. That happened before. I think it was Microsoft that did it. Who wasn't it? Wasn't it them?
Renting hardware? I do vaguely
kind of
remember
the monthly fee to have a console thing.
Yeah,
yes, I do remember something to that effect.
I think it was them that tried that, or maybe Sony, or I can't remember. But like,
it wasn't Nintendo. I can tell you that.
What if they? It's like when you rent like a dishwasher or something. Which is that an LA thing? I always thought that was pretty weird. Anyway, that's beside the point. The thing that I would be not shocked for them to do is some kind of Amazon-esque thing that's like, hey, there we have this console, it's $5.99, but you can never turn off ads on the front page dashboard of this thing. Like you but if you want to pay an extra $150, you can get one that has no advertising to you, right? Like, what if you had to watch a 30-second ad before your game started? Fuck that shit. I shouldn't even mention that.
Don't you put that goddamn evil into the world.
I agree. I fully 100% agree with you, but at the same time, they have to be looking at the success of things like Tubi and thinking like, there's clearly some kind of demand for this style of business model, or people are more accepting of this than you might think.
Like, I know you just entered this door to load in, but while you're loading, how about this 30-second ad? Liberty.
I want you to die for even saying this out loud. I really do.
That could be bad.
I think it might have been Xbox All Access was the program I was thinking of where you could, but that was like leasing a console to own, I believe.
Yes.
I don't think that was just a pure rental.
It would suck, but it also sucks a $1,200 console. You know,
you're not wrong, but this is an impossible situation. Like, this is a harder problem than anybody making a game platform should have to solve, because that's already way too easy to fuck up without all these external factors making it more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what the right solution is. I think compromising the hardware platform is the absolute wrong.
Could you wait?
Possibly, but like some of the reporting around that has been that like it would be so costly to disrupt your chain. These plans are set in motion so many years in advance and rely on so many things executing at the right times and in the right order and everything that like that is potentially more costly than just going ahead and shipping and biting the bullet on knowing you're not going to sell much.
Like for a generation?
For the first, well, not the whole generation, but for the first some number of months or a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
I just
slow build. Like we're probably just going to see an even more amplified version of the phenomenon from this generation, where it took like 3 years practically before truly exclusive games were shipping on these consoles that didn't also ship on the previous. Like that could last half or most of the next generation this time around.
Oh yeah. A lot of TBD on that one. I guess, notably, obviously no Helix stuff. They had said that initially that they weren't going to show any of that stuff. Did you see right before we came in here, it looked like there was news that Valve announced the summer release for their Steam machine?
Oh, for the machine or the frame? I saw last night that it's some kind of data mining made it look like the frame is pretty close.
Which one is the frame?
The frame is the VR thing.
Oh, I thought I saw Steam machine and
maybe it's both.
Yeah, I just caught it before we get in here, so I didn't.
Summer 2026. I see that. Yeah, that just happened.
All right. Well, they have until August 31st. Then.
Did you also see that they're ending physical gift cards? They're just no more Steam gift cards physical. They're only doing digital. So. Well,
now how will the scammers
that's exactly what they said.
Their Steam gift cards.
They said we're just done. We're just done with the scams.
Ugh.
The phrasing was new Steam hardware this summer.
Oh, it's not Steam machines?
So maybe it's not the Steam machine.
Well, it's both. No, it's both.
It's both? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's both the frame and the machine if they're just saying when the new Steam hardware ships this summer.
Okay.
No pricing, though, right?
Not yet.
Nope.
Okay.
They're probably still figuring it out.
I bet they still don't know.
Man. Well, should we wrap this one up?
I think so.
Sure.
There's a lot, and again, if you've got an extra 5 or 6 hours to kill, more than that, let's say you have an extra 10 hours and want to go watch Summer Game Fest and Nintendo Direct, and then maybe 5 hours of stuff you may have missed or trailers. Keep it on the background.
Mm-hmm.
You can go do that over on our archive on the YouTube. Alex Navarro, you'll have more coming up.
Yes.
As the weeks roll out here, except for actually you'll have more indefinitely. Apparently,
you've heard about the bulk of what I saw, but there will be at least a few games to talk about next week.
And we'll come back to emails and stuff. Where this is mostly just a not E3 focused podcast. We'll come back to that stuff. But speaking of coming back, Alex, we're coming back to the Watchcast.
Yes,
with Star Trek.
Star Trek Summer is beginning. I actually have to watch 2 episodes tonight because I have not had a chance to go through and watch any of those yet. But Star Trek Season 3 is the upcoming slate for the Watchcast. There will probably be a break in there somewhere, but we will be continuing with that season until we're done.
And that'll, at the time of this recording, if you're listening to this, that will be starting next week on the Patreon. So
it will appear first on the Patreon next week, yes.
So you can go check that out on patreon.com/Nextlander. Like we mentioned at the top, your support allows us to do these things. I'm just going to be completely frank with you. Some of the most stuff we do is the stuff that gets wiped off of places like YouTube or Twitch because they're the ones that you're like, oh boy, nobody's doing this kind of thing because nobody can make any money off of it.
Right.
Drumming streams, trailer streams, cartoon stuff streams. Those are the things that they're basically like, no, you'll never make the money off of these. But they're super fun to do, and we love doing them, and we couldn't do it without your support, without people like you going out there and throwing us a few dollars if you can over at patreon.com/Nextlander, where we don't have to worry about that stuff being demonetized or possibly a channel going down in the future. So thank you very much for going over there. We try to provide some extra bit of juice over there if you're at patreon.com/Nextlander. Things like the Ramblecast, the video Ramblecast, the Planorama. Never been a better podcast. I can say that with certainty. That's still true. And that's got people like Austin Walker, Dan Riker, Jeff Bacalar, Abby Russell. They swing through and catch us up on all sorts of things. Maybe we'll hear some LA shenanigans from them this month. Check it all out over at patreon.com/Nextlander. Now, there is one tier there, and they get their names read on this very show. And that's the Mysterious Benefactors tier, and I'm going to read those names for you right now. Starting with Roasted Mechanical Spider, Fix Your Heart or Die, Happy Pride Vibes. Alpha Rhythm, Infelicitus Rips, David L., Kelly F., Brian Lucier, Skywarp, Jason Grimm, John Hubbard, Thordreen, Evan Cook, Jerry Lee, Road to Deidre 2, Pugtato, Pup is my name, hashtag Bunny for Work, Jad Rita, Statics, Maybe Today's the Day, It Happens, Brian Murphy, Randy Duax, Randy Alderson, Andrew Tiebkin, Alex Wu, It's Me JP, Edward Schick, Steve Lynn, Matthew Herrig, David Campos, and Tyler Treese. Those are our mysterious benefactors for this week. They get it. They know we couldn't do it without them. So they went to patreon.com/Nextlander and supported us because they know that without us, everything collapses. We are
They know ball.
And they know ball. Absolutely.
I'm just pointing at a camera that no one can see.
Nobody can see you pointing.
But this is an audio podcast.
But imagine Alex pointing at the camera and confirming that they know ball.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone else who understands it and knows ball as well and has gone over to support us. Thank you, Alex, for doing your field reporting.
Happy to do it.
How do you feel nasally in the sinuses? Anything coming on?
No, I don't think I got sick. I did wear a mask on the plane just to be safe, both there and back, because I didn't want to bring any con pox onto a plane with me. But I had the worst migraine I probably had in very many years, all of Monday. So if I saw you on Monday, it's not your fault. I was just like that day. And I'm sorry. Other than that, look, I was fine.
It could be your fault, but Alex is giving you a pass.
I'm giving the blanket pass to everyone I met on Monday. It was my fault, not yours.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brad Shoemaker, thanks for sitting shotgun this one for a lot of those press conferences.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Always enjoy talking over those things and joining the crowd and seeing some of that stuff happen live and sharing in the excitement there. We will be back on Friday with the stream. Alex, how do you feel about Truck-Kun?
Let's talk. If I don't want to do it this week, I will definitely do it next week. I just need to make sure that I'm not going to run out of gas by Friday.
Yeah. I didn't want to commit to it on the calendar because I felt like maybe you might be running out of gas or maybe you'd be sick. I wasn't sure.
One of the two. We'll see.
One of the two.
We will confirm tomorrow one way or the other.
And then next week, Brad, this week we went back and played Subnautica 2, but next week, maybe some Destiny? Maybe.
I played a lot of Destiny in the last few days.
Ooh.
On a normal week, we would have talked about that this week, but I felt like the Summer Game Fest stuff was more important. But I played a fair amount of Destiny before and after the shutdown, before the final update rolled in, because I really needed to see what it had become before they rolled in the update that would become what they finally, what they came to understand would be the final update, right?
The final state of it, yeah.
Right. So, I kind of wanted the before-after stuff there. Maybe we'll play it.
Okay.
I'm undecided if there's enough there. Unless we just decide we want to say, we're going to do a farewell Destiny tribute stream, then maybe.
Yeah, we could just pal around in there. I'm sure your light level is way above mine.
That's what it would be, because, everything that's in this final update, as I can tell, is, very much geared to be meaningful for people who have been playing this whole time.
So,
there's not, a lot of flashy new stuff for us to do in there, necessarily.
This is probably more of a next week conversation, but I just want to ask you now, if I were to boot up Destiny 2 right now, how long would I have to spend picking new options and reassigning points or stuff, or is it pretty straightforward from when I left off? Mandatory
0, which is kind of the problem.
Okay.
They just sort of dump you into the menu and expect you to figure it out.
Oh, okay. They don't walk you through it?
They don't force you to be hey, you need to respect these 5 armor mods before you can start playing again. But that's almost would be preferable to the complete lack of direction, which is just basically, hey, here's the interface.
Figure it out.
I mean, whatever. I don't want to get too deep into it when we're going to probably talk about it next week, but that's what the Portal was.
Yeah.
The much maligned Portal was a sort of live service free to play style interface of units that were hey, maybe you should do this quest. Here's the biggest unit is the next expansion kickoff mission that you haven't done, and here's these 2 other units that are pointing you at these things you could do, and that's been de-emphasized now for the classic director map screen, but I don't think either of those things was great at helping me figure out what I've missed, which is a lot.
I'm curious, so we'll see what happens.
If we just want to, if people listening want to register their feedback, let us know.
Right. Sound off in the comments below.
Discord or the post at us on whatever platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we just commit to being hey, we just want to play some Destiny for a little bit, then that's fine. But it's definitely going to be content you've possibly seen before and that kind of thing.
We'll run a raid, the 3 of us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we'll talk about that more next week. I finished 007. We'll talk about that more next week. I finished that game Replaced. We can talk more about that next week. And we'll be back on our regular BS next week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The Brad Shoemaker. That BS. Well, thanks very much, everybody, again, for supporting us. And thank you very much, Alex Navarro.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad Shoemaker.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with another Nextlander podcast next week. See ya.